The clerk will have roll call. Here.
Sharon Kelly.
Here.
Tracy LeBlanc. Here. Doug Rowdy.
Here.
Pam Garvey. Here. Justin Wood.
Here.
Present. All right. Approval of the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
There's a first and a second. We can still move things around, so it's not too bad. So then all those in favor of the agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. The minutes from our November 5th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay. Did anybody see anything changes? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Public comments. Anybody here for public? Come up, state your name.
Morning, Mr. Chair, committee. Thanks for hearing my comments today. My name is Mike Wallace, and I am a resident of the town of Osceola. I'm here to speak today about I guess questions, comments. Realizing you may address some of this later or at a future date, but I guess my main question is, has the final depth of the quarry floor been determined for the Blue Rock Quarry? And you may know there's a condition that relates directly to this. It's that it shall be no lower than any well within a half mile of the quarry footprint. And I don't want to simplify that whole process because I think it could be more complicated than it sounds. There's more to that condition too. Besides that, there's relations to Lotus Lake, but I'm just here specifically on the well component. Does it, questions like, does it apply only to wells that are listed in the state's well database? What about shallow wells that may have been put in, or, sand points, that kind of thing, may not be in the database? Things like springboks. I guess I don't know what a springboks is, but that's something I've heard of too, that I don't know if that's a well or not, but and then is that half mile determined by the exact location of the wellhead, or is it a parcel that's within a half mile and any well on that parcel? And I realize this may only apply to a few parcels or properties or wells in that area that particularly might be north or northeast of the well or the quarry footprint. But I think these are important things to consider. And so at the end, my specific question is, has that quarry depth been determined yet? And this kind of bleeds into a kind of a more overarching, bigger issue with these conditions for the quarry. A lot of them were developed and based on very little information, almost no information in some cases from the applicant. And I know that the zoning department has very capable leadership, and I trust that the staff are very capable as well, but I'm guessing that they're also very busy. And at some point, this analysis and data collection has to be done by somebody. And I don't know if that's going to rely or fall on the shoulders of the staff, or if there's going to be a technical expert hired or extra help brought in to help the staff to do other things while they're focused on this quarry permit approval process. Either way, I guess that I would hope that if there is some experts brought in, that they're non-biased. Obviously, they're not involved in any way, and that the costs of all that can be put back on the applicants. Taxpayers shouldn't have that burden. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comment? Yes, sir.
Hello. My name is Jim Brundage. I reside at 2055A 85th Avenue in Dresser. I'm here today to ask the committee to ensure there are proper resources allocated to the staff to ensure compliance with all the conditions set forth with the conditional use permit to Blue Rock Quarry. The one condition I am personally most concerned with is condition 15H regarding 55 decibels. Since I live on top of the hill on the other side of Lotus Lake, the sound is most concerning to me. I'm sure we all know that sound travels better uphill due to increases in wind speed, which allows sound waves to travel further, possibly bounce off of the lake, and be heard more clearly at higher altitudes. It is a known fact that blasting is more than 55 decibels, usually up around 200 decibels. So this is an obvious concern of a condition that doesn't seem to even be achievable. I'm wanting to ensure the condition of 55 decibels is enforced at my residence all the time, and not just enforced twice a year during testing. I also want it to be known that I am one of those existing residents at the date of the CUP application that the CUP identifies as not allowing the applicant to be greater than 55 decibels. A few questions that I'm hoping to get answered are how the county is going to ensure that 55 decibels is enforced at my house, and what resources the county has for residents like me who want to ensure the 55 decibels is not exceeded at any time. Will there be any options for residents to monitor noise and to report issues to the county for enforcement? So let's do a little what if. If I top of the hill and I hear a blast, and let's say I either buy a decibel recording device or one is provided to me, do I have to videotape the blast and the digital recording device and present that as evidence to somebody? And whoever I present that evidence to, do they have the authority to shut down the quarry? Or is this just going to go before a hearing and I'm going to get sued by Blue Rock, because you can sue people for anything, and 5 years later, it's going to be decided that I was right and they violated the 55 decibel rule, and they're going to have to pay a fine, and they keep blasting for the 5 years that the lawsuits are going on. I'd like to see from you some kind of a procedural process where we can record and have the people that we present our evidence to have the teeth to be able to do something to live up to the conditions of the conditional use permit, specifically the 55 decibel rule. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, thanks all for being here. My name is Melissa Ward and I reside at 2127 105th Avenue in Dresser. I am here to speak today on one of the items on the agenda, the Blue Rock Quarry conditions that are listed on the conditional use permit. One of the conditions that is listed on the CUP, item number 15K, states that the quarry is for 10 acres total. I believe you were informed at last month's meeting that one of the applicants has already stated that this project has been approved for 10 acres of an active quarry and an additional 10 acres for processing. I want to ensure that the county is going to stand behind the condition as written in 15K and limit the total mining footprint to the 10 acres and not modify the condition to allow for 10 acres of an active quarry and an additional 10 acres for processing. There is a huge difference between a 10-acre quarry and a 20-acre quarry. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Sandy Ball, and I live at 2477 100th Avenue in Dresser. We also own property on both sides of County Road F, just east of Dresser a few miles. I'm here today to ask the committee to allocate the proper resources needed and to take the necessary steps to ensure compliance with the conditions that are set forth on the conditional use permit for the Blue Rock Quarry. As a resident near this proposed quarry, I want to ensure the health and safety of my family as well as the neighborhood in which I live. Thank you, Tim and Sandy.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Members of the boards, fellow citizens, I'm concerned most about
State your name, please.
is the road conditions.
Name, please.
I'm Dave Dudash, reside at 1039 View Lane in Dresser, Wisconsin. You know, the conditions of the roads originally built or designed to handle that much weight and that much traffic. Who is going to maintain those roads? And the extra expenses, is that going to be absorbed by Blue Rock or is it going to be absorbed by the citizens of Polk County? As you know, that section down by the Rod and Gun Club, it's a very low-lying area, very swamped. That's going to have to be totally redone, reinforced. It took how many months to get a culvert replaced? That's my concern, is traffic and the road conditions. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Denise Kay and I live at 2166 90th Avenue in the town of Osceola. So as the crow flies, I'm basically across the street from the proposed quarry. I'm here today to ask the committee to allocate the resources necessary and to diligently provide oversight and take all the actions necessary to enforce ensure the enforcement of the CUP, the way, the conditions that are in there, the way that they're written for Blue Rock Quarry. I bought this property as my retirement property. And about the time I was able to finally get to the point where I was going to put in my orchard and my gardens and do those things, I have 5 acres. The quarry reared its head again. And so I have been really nervous about committing resources to things when I know that I'm going to be severely impacted by the blasting of the quarry and all the accompanying noise, dirt, traffic, vibration. So please do your due diligence and provide the oversight and guidance necessary to ensure that this is taken the way that the process is going the way it's supposed to. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? It could be on anything. All right, hearing no more, then we will close the public hearing portion.
Comment.
Comment. All right, we don't have another supervisor here. No. All right, let's get to our presentation.
Morning. While Claire is queuing up our short presentation, I just want to say that we're excited again to recognize some very outstanding citizens in our county, and we're pleased to do that through our Land and Water Stewardship Award for 2025. So next slide, please, Claire. So as we've discussed before, we have 2 categories for the Land and Water Stewardship Award, one in the land category and the other in the water stewardship category. Each can be awarded to an individual or a group, and each award winner has been a valued partner in contributing to Land and Water Resource Department mission, the mission of preserving and protecting and enhancing our natural resources. Each award winner has dedicated a significant amount of time and talent assisting with promoting soil and water resources. Each award winner is a leader and has influenced many to engage in resource management practices and protection efforts. Each award winner continues to proudly support natural resource conservation to make Polk County the best place to live, work, and play. Our Land Stewardship Award winners demonstrate conservation through agronomy services. They're active consultants within the ag industry. Their business model includes promotion of environmentally sound agricultural practices. They're an active collaborator with our Polk County Land and Water Resources Department and have sponsored multiple field day luncheons for the Horse Creek Watershed Council. They're very active in the ag community, promoting and providing services for nutrient management and other agronomy services. And it's really a huge help to our department. And they continue to support and share the soil health and conservation message with our agricultural community. So next slide, please, Claire. With that, I'm very honored to present Ryan Lind and Mark Sarir of Ag Strategies with the Land Stewardship Award for 2025. So moving through this, we have one more award. And in the water stewardship category, Water Stewardship Award winner has demonstrated commitment through water quality, through land preservation, and community engagement. This individual has chaired the Half Moon Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District. He chaired it for 9 years. Initiated the incorporation of the Half Moon Lake Conservancy in 2003. And that conservancy is active and very engaged to this day. That individual recruited officer positions for the conservancy and was active as treasurer for many, many years. And since that time, he and others have initiated multiple successful conservation easements protecting critical habitat and water resources around Half Moon Lake. And that image shows a few of the land preservation efforts the Conservancy has taken on, and there's 3 there. And this individual continues exploring ways to preserve and protect nearshore habitat and water quality of Half Moon Lake. So with that, I am pleased to present the Water Stewardship Award to David Butler of Half Moon Lake. Thank you very much for your service. Oh, you bet. And Mr. Butler has a few words.
Can't get away without saying a few words.
That's not a mic. You can speak up. The
Oh.
mics are all over in here, so
Okay.
everybody can hear everything.
Well, people, I've had 2 love affairs. My first love affair was with my wife, Mary Martha Butler, who's here. My second love affair has been with Half Moon Lake. And I can't apologize for that. I can apologize for my family of taking a lot of my time and devoting it for what I've done for the lake. But I'd like to introduce my daughter, Helen Butler, who's now chairman of the board of the Half Moon Lake District. I'd like to introduce my son, David Butler, who has helped me with writing my book on the history of the Half Moon Lake. And it's been an honor for me to have spent time and working for the Half Moon Lake area. And I thank the farmers who have been cooperative and not drained things into the lake. We don't have a problem with that at all. And our conservancy was organized not because we have a problem, but because we were advised by the state that we ought to acquire property that's instrumental in preserving the water that comes into the lake. And we can have ways of filtering the water and taking the phosphorus out of the water before it gets into the lake. So I'd recommend other lakes in the county to consider a similar conservancy arrangement. And they might look at doing the same sort of thing that we've done. So I thank you for the work. I did a lot of work with the county in writing my book on the history of the lake, and I thank the county for doing that. And I thank this committee for what you're doing, and it's all helping what we want to do for the lake. Thank you, Eric.
So Mr. Butler and I have had a lot of conversations about Half Moon Lake and some of his visioning there. And one of our last conversations included his vision and 100-year plan. So I'm hopeful that I can help him see through his 100-year plan and my satisfaction in seeing that through. So with that, we're going to exit now and have a little social and take some photos for a press release. But thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to recognize these people for the good work that they're doing in our county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
For your award.
So we got about 6 minutes. Should we take a short break? I want to talk to here anyway. You want to talk to our.
Thanks for coming, John.
Always dangerous.
land and water.
Yeah.
So.
DNR.
DNR.
DNR, especially with the well.
Missions the mining people, so they
Yeah.
would show up. I mean, so there's quite a few different agencies mixed in there. That's out of what Duluth, I think, or Superior. It's kind of
And they
that's a
probably have-
national one.
They probably have one person half the state.
Yes, he's out of Hurley.
See, you know,
He's out of Hurley.
He's out of Hurley. Is there a lot of mining in Hurley?
God, yes.
Is there? I don't know, because Hurley's in the middle of nowhere. Oh,
All them big, they're all over up there. And then
taconite. I didn't realize there was that much taconite in Wisconsin.
a little bit, but that is where the gold mine, copper mines are.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Lady Smith, so that's Hurley's on that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Issues.
Yeah.
Because they still got some of the old mine shaft things.
Sure.
Up and all.
Got it.
But he's out of Hurley. So he does from like 94 up.
Got it.
You
All
know,
right.
2/3 the state. One guy.
You know, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but you know, it's time to start the public.
Is
hearing.
it? Have a public hearing. 9:30. Let's have a public hearing today.
Okay, well, let's. Are you sure?
We'll, we're gonna open this one up and have Logan read it in, yes.
Alrighty, Steve and Gail St. Marie requested district change from agricultural 20 A2 to residential agricultural 5 RA5 for the following parcels: 028-00198-0000 1.83 acres, 028-00199-0000 1.61 acres, 028-002-00-0000 1.53 acres, located in section 10, town 35 north, range 15 west, in the town of Johnstown. So we have these three properties pulled up here. Just want to make sure I get the 198, 199, and 2000 here are the three parcels that are proposed to be rezoned today. If we pull up the zoning district, it should be, looks like it's on, it's just taking a little bit to pull up. As you can see, these are zoned agricultural 20. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see the whole lake, the whole town, and in this portion is zoned Ag 20, with the exception of a previous rezone that was rezoned to residential agricultural 5. And then if we zoom out again, please, that Pipe Lake down to the south is zoned residential due to it being a class 1. The reason that North Pipe didn't get the same 300-foot buffer around it is because it's a class 2 lake. So we have the southern part of the lake is residential around it. The North Pipe is all Ag 20, which the reason for the rezone request is the setbacks changed drastically from those two zoning districts. So this request is to rezone these three properties a little more of a residential type setback rather than the agricultural 20, which has a 25-foot setback to all buildings. Straight residential setbacks would be 5 foot for an accessory building. Because it is on a class 2 lake, it does, I believe it's a 10-foot or 15-foot instead. So they're getting it from 25 down to, I should look that up, but 15, but whatever it is, they're able to make that work. But that's the reason for the rezone. A little bit more about the properties themselves. It is a pretty heavily forested area, but there is a lot of residents or residential use on the lake, as you may expect. So the properties, all three properties have dwellings on them. And their access is off of a town road, which is 24th Street, right on the west side there. There's no floodplain or wetland on any of these properties. It was kind of a unique request because they are requesting for their property and two other properties in the town board request. It was requested for the whole lake to be changed.
they didn't they didn't go through saying they wanted to redo the whole thing at this time. So the approval from the town, which was at their October 14th meeting, is kind of a broad rezone, letter that states if people come through, requesting this rezone, the town is okay with it on North Pipe. But they didn't want to at this time go through and do it all on all the properties. So right now it is just these 3 properties that would be requesting to change. But that's where, I don't know if you guys, you get the town request as part of the packet and read that letter? No.
No,
Okay.
Sometimes.
We can pull that up.
let's pull that up, so.
Is it the same owner for all 3?
No, so they're requesting, so you can request a rezone for a chunk of land that is in your area. So it is a little bit unique. Usually we only get requests for property you own. But you can request for an area to make it more, compatible, I guess, with the area around it. So in this case, there was more than one residence that wanted this rezone to happen. So there's 3 in this case that were interested in this, but they don't each need to come in. There can be just one request for multiple properties to rezone, which they could have requested the whole lake, or the town could have if they wished, but they didn't. So it's kind of back to the property owner to go individually. Unfortunately, if it keeps going, it may have to keep one property at a time if there's more interest. So right there, the town of Johnstown change.
Set up for one, basically.
So this letter, from the town was, as stated, October 14th, 2025 to Polk County Zoning, rezoning request for North Pipe Lake landowners. As of the date of this letter, the town of Johnstown, Polk County, Wisconsin, agrees to adhere to the recommendation of the Polk County Zoning Committee regarding change requests from agricultural 2, or it should be 20, to residential 5 for lakeshore property owners on North Pipe Lake. The town of Johnstown does request to be notified by mail of any approved change requests that are a result of this blanket agreement. And then they have, mail it to, which they are notified on rezones anyway when it goes through. So that is the letter we got back from when a property owner goes to the town to get on their minutes to get approval for a specific rezone. It is a little bit unique as far as they kind of said, hey, we're fine with the whole lake being rezoned.
So the town could have said, we request the whole thing. And are they charged anything for that then?
They would have been just the same fee, the $800 fee for the public hearing.
So, but the town is saying we're deferring all further decisions to the county and we're good with that? Is that kind of what that letter, I mean, that seems like that's what that letter said.
I think the same thing.
They just like, so now they.
Short.
It's just a question as far as process. So going forward, they won't have to go to the town because you have this letter that they're just gonna have to come straight to the county.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the avenue that they were hoping to go, that they're fine with all of them being rezoned, as long as the committee is also approving them.
Right.
If one were to get denied, I guess I don't know exactly how that would
Interesting.
work.
Well, as the town just thinking, well, we don't have to pay the $800, then we can just leave it.
Like a one and done.
Yeah. Huh,
But the town wouldn't have to pay anyways. It would be
yeah.
The
He
applicant
the
said,
applicant, whoever the applicant
Applicant
is what
pays,
it pays.
but
but if the applicant isn't applying and the town was the one applying to have it,
Oh,
the whole
sure.
thing changed,
Sure.
they would still have to pay the,
There's like 60, 70 people, it costs them all $10. You know,
yeah, if they did it all,
if they all did it
but
together.
they're not doing it
They're
all.
not, yeah, so it's,
Yeah.
yep.
Logan being is how Pipe Lake, the main lake is. Has anybody looked into a rezone or a classification on making this a class 1 on the other part of the lake because of the growth? I mean, they get down to where they always say it's a less occupied lake, not anymore.
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't believe anyone's
pursued that route of it to get it reclassified. But as far as in this case, yeah, I suppose that would help. Within 300 feet, it would make it then residential if it got reclassified to class 1. But
Cover all of them.
I don't know exactly if.
Who does that reclassification?
Goes through a process, doesn't it? Same as the first one. We would do it, I think.
This comes to committee.
I think it goes to the committee. I don't know if we've reclassified some.
The lake classification.
Yes, system.
Process that West Central Regional Planning helped us with years ago, but that would be a pretty involved reevaluation of our lakes.
Yeah,
But I mean, it could be done.
it can be done, yeah. Okay. My other question, does it make any of them non-conforming? Do they all have 100-foot shoreline?
You'd have to have 150.
Nope, the class,
Class 2 is 150.
As far as the lot non-conforming?
yeah, it doesn't make anything
No,
non-conforming.
yeah, the lots wouldn't
That-
be changing at all, so it wouldn't impact that at all.
It doesn't impact any setbacks now that somebody's across the lot line or anything, just so that they're not. It doesn't affect anything that way, does it?
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so I think that would have just been like a late classification, different setback. Is that what you're kind of, if there was like a 100-foot setback from something?
well, the 75 or the 25
Yeah.
or something, or is there a shed built on a lot line or something now that we're. But I don't see any there, so,
See this, the DNR changed that, so they're all the same.
yeah,
Setback and limit.
yeah, we had, yeah. 'Cause I'm used to this, but it
Be
doesn't.
150 and 100 foot.
Yeah, no, it's 75.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I just read that in here too.
We did receive one comment in support of this request, which did you guys receive that in your email?
no, we did, and the mailing was empty. I'm hoping that it was mailed to the 300.
I noticed the
Yeah,
same
there's
thing. I'm
nothing.
like,
I
there's
just
no
noticed that the mailing was empty.
mailings. I'm like.
That was usually,
That didn't get attached to the,
or did we get a blank sheet attached with it?
No, I'm on the 25th.
Yeah, we.
Okay.
I got it on November 25th from Hannah.
Yeah.
the public comment.
Okay.
Below, it was, you had to scroll down on the
Oh.
email.
Oh,
It was
so it was way at the end.
layered.
On this email.
I didn't see that, but it was a separate email. See public comment below pertaining to,
Oh, yeah, I see it.
But it was in support.
Yeah, would you like me to read it in?
Sure, read it in then.
Or can
Say,
pull that out?
let's read it in, then it's on the record. This is very big anyway, so.
So this public comment, if you could scroll up just a little bit so I can read the from and was from Lars Loberg, sent on November 25th, sent to myself, the Polk County zoning administrator. The letter reads, Logan, I am an adjoining landowner to Steve and Gail St. Marie on North Pipe. I received your letter yesterday dated November 18th, 2025 concerning the December 3rd, 2025 public hearing. I am unable to attend the hearing because I will be in court in Pierce County at the time. The request filed by Steve and Gail requests a rezone or redistricting of 3 adjoining parcels, including a parcel owned by my wife and I, parcel number 028-00198-0000. I support the request. Frankly, I believe that all of North Pipe should be zoned residential ag. At some point, I would like to build a shed or detached garage on my property. The rezone would allow me to build in a desired location that would minimize tree removal and avoid impact on my septic and mound system. The location will likely be near my south line. I have discussed the future project with my southern neighbors, Scott and Carla Gillespie. They have no objection. Should you need anything further or have questions, please let me know. Thank you, Lars.
So he states in there, he got a letter, so that's at least one of the,
Yeah, I do have the sheet here with all the neighbors that were notified, so they were
they were notified. Okay. That was all done, right? Do we have the owner here? No, we don't have any owners here. Or anybody here to speak for or against this? Right. We don't, all right. Oh, you made it, okay. Do you want to speak to this?
I just want to hear to answer any questions that anybody has.
Okay, do we have any questions of the petitioner? Does anyone? Yeah, so you're good.
All this is from the
Egan.
Thank you for
Yep. All right, any other questions that we should think of any? It's a rezone, so it's pretty short and sweet. All right, you want to go through?
Yeah, if you could pull up the findings page, please. So all these findings were included in the staff report. We can blow them up here so everyone can take a closer look at them.
Wait, it's hard to see.
I think the only thing that maybe wasn't explained verbatim was that the line there, the purpose of this rezone is to reduce the restrictive side yard setbacks in A2 and to better align these residential properties with a better suited zoning district.
Kim, do you want to include the list of property owners, should say, as an exhibit that he's got there?
That will be in there because that'll be in the application. I think because ours is blank. I think we ended up with a blank
We
page.
did, yeah.
You have the page that's filled in
With the owners
with the owners
that were
sent.
mailed? Yep. Yeah, we have the notarized copy in the file here. I guess it just didn't get attached to that
Yep.
packet.
So that should cover it, I think, yeah. And it didn't, I mean, do we comment that it didn't change any lot lines or anything? I guess I don't know if we have to do that. You know, that nothing else was changed. You know, no internal lot lines of the 4 acres or anything. So we can leave it at that.
So does the town have to request to have the whole thing done? Or do we have that? Can we just decide, gee, it makes more sense to have it all rezoned?
If the county itself can petition to rezone, I'd have to look into that as far as it being like a comprehensive rewrite in I don't know. I think it does have to be a petition.
County
The
can't.
town would have.
Yeah.
The town has to do its own zoning.
Yeah.
That's one of their,
Yeah, oh, I know. Yeah.
yep, that's pretty strict that way.
I just wanted to ask because
Yeah. No, it
to
doesn't.
me, it would make more sense to just get it all done.
Do the 300 like we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
The only way we could do that is if we did something with, in say, class 2 lakes. And
Yeah.
then we did the same as class 1 to go to class 2.
Yeah.
And then each town would have what, a year to do it or whatever? Doesn't it take that long?
Yeah, at this
It
point,
takes quite a while.
yeah, at this point, anybody that would petition on this particular lake, obviously, we have that documented from the town.
Yeah.
They're in support.
Of doing it.
And that's pretty much where we're at with process on that.
I think the only way the county could get it is, like Doug was saying, make it a class 1
Yeah.
or go to class 2s and put that 300 around it.
And that probably makes the most sense, what Doug
Yeah.
said. If it should be,
Because it would fit.
yeah,
But to reclassify it too is quite a
deal.
process. So.
Is this the first time we've ever tripled up on one
that's not-
application?
Seemed quite as hard.
That I remember.
As far as multiple properties on,
One submission.
yeah, I mean, I think there's been multiple parcels, as part of one. This one just happens
By the
to be,
same person.
yeah.
Yeah, but owned
Yeah.
by the same person.
I mean, is this gonna create issues going forward, even with the town's approval? I mean, I guess that's my question.
Does it get recorded?
Yeah, how are we recording? I mean, this is 3 properties on one submission.
3 property owners.
Owners, yeah. And so it's kind of like how, like, I don't know, I guess, how are we tracking all of this?
Tracking.
Like,
this-
as in, I mean, you can track it by application, but those other 2 property owners don't have this application. They're included on this particular one. And the board approval through, you know, their township, but it's kind of like they're not singled out.
So
necessarily.
they would be singled out then, sorry, Logan, but they would be singled out then as they come forward and apply for their land use application. Because this is just the zoning district change. And then as they move forward with the jobs or the projects that they want to, then they will be identified in singular fashion. It's definitely unique. We don't,
Yeah.
you know, as this all started, it was actually initially the entire lake. It was the impetus for them all joining one application.
I mean, it's just weird because
It is
like
just-
on here, they've got Stephen Gale's name and then, but for 3 different parcels and those people, how does anybody know that those
They're not
people even
named.
want theirs
Yeah.
changed?
So that's where they get notified because they're within 300 feet, that this rezone is occurring. As far as when I read the statute, someone can petition an area of land to be rezoned that is affecting them, whether it's not just their parcel. So like if someone was requesting a whole area because they feel it should be residential, even though they only own a couple parcels, but there's
Yeah,
20 parcels in there, they can request that whole area to be rezoned per the review of a rezone that it meets all the requirements, which it goes to the town, starts there.
but what if one of these other people come back and say, I don't want mine rezoned?
So that's when they would come to the public hearing and say, I don't want my property rezoned because I don't feel it meets this requirement.
So I think the question that they seem to be at, did all of the parcel owners receive notice specifically? Because we give notice to any adjoining
Yeah,
property within 300 feet or whatever the.
300, yep.
Did we also give notice to the people whose property is subject to
They're
their request?
adjoined.
That's what I think they're getting at,
well, they're adjoining.
So Lars obviously did.
right?
So then the other one and maybe the.
I can answer those questions.
We should have you come up though, please, so because we're still on the record. And that'll help us that way.
Well, as you know, I'm Steve. We bought our property a little over a year ago and we wanted to do an outbuilding. I had my excavator come and evaluate the property and proper use of the property and where we develop the plot. He said, Steve, we can just, we looked at the zoning first, which is unusual evidently for a lot of people on the lake. They look at the land usage permits. The setbacks are different on the land usage permits as they are on the zoning permit. So no one knows that. So when they hire a contractor to come on and look at the land usage only, and they assume it's all a 10-foot setback. AG is 25-foot setback. That compresses our properties quite tightly. So my excavator said, if you can steal 10 more feet, we can save a lot of trees. You're in an ideal position for drainage and so on and so forth. So I originally asked for a variance with Logan. And in my process, I had to contact both neighbors by phone to get their permission to say, hey, is it okay if I do this? They both absolutely agreed and said, well, we want to do the same thing. We're thinking about doing a garage, and we're under the impression it's 10 foot. I said, well, no. I said, so I'm going through the rezoning process to get this going. They said, well, lump us in. So they've both been contacted. They've been in contact with Logan, Lars via letter, but they've both been notified. And Lars has reached out to his neighbors, and I'm assuming Mark and Paula have reached out to their neighbors as well. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to assume that they had followed the same protocol as I did. So that's where we stand. And we're just hoping that you let us rezone that section. We originally went to the town and said, why don't we just do the whole lake? It's a lot easier. one fee, and they said, well, we don't mind you doing this. We just don't want to do it for the whole lake. So their proposal was, anybody in the future comes, they can certainly ask and they'll have our permission. I think for the township's basis, they don't want to pay the $800 for the meeting. That's what it boiled out, that's what it boiled down to.
That's it.
Right
Yeah.
there.
That's what I think it was. I said, well, I'll pay the $800. I'm not worrying about that. And in fact, if I pay the $800, go ahead and do the whole lake. I'll pay for it. They didn't agree with that. So because I think they're worried about notifying people. I contacted, I forget what the guy's name is, your tax assessor. I wanted to confirm before we further, is this not gonna be a tax burden on anybody if we rezone? And they said no. So I said, as long as it doesn't cost you anything to do this, why wouldn't we just do it?
Yeah.
And the township, the county's gonna benefit from outbuildings with the increased land values. It just makes sense to me, but I couldn't get through the board, so. So we're hoping you go ahead and approve this so that the three of us can move on with our projects. Lars intends on building a garage, as do Mark and Paula, as do I. That's my purpose. I want to get some storage for my pontoon and so on and so forth. I don't have that now, and I'd like to be able to provide that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, then for clarity,
I just-
should we add,
I have a
oh, do you have a question for him?
and corporate.
I was gonna say, do we add their names under each parcel number? Do we add the people's names
Anna said one of them.
to put in would that help too? Application?
In the findings.
Some of the impressions they did fill out their own applications.
Yeah,
Did not?
One of them for sure did.
and the other one sent a public comment.
Okay.
So, but I mean, so we have 3 different ID numbers. Can we put a name to each ID number in the record? So it just doesn't come up with
Clarifies
odd
it a
numbers.
little
Yeah.
better.
Clarify it. Would that help?
Say the name of the property owner as opposed to just saying a parcel number? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
You want that parcel number for sure.
yeah, you have both.
See, I don't know that you have to do that, but.
But it would maybe,
Add the
I think
name.
you can't, so.
I think for clarification, maybe we should just add the name to each one, don't you think? Or not everybody would, yeah.
Well, I'm just, did you just say that the other property owner actually filled out an application?
Yes.
So does he have to do this then? No?
No, that's why they were put all on one, because I guess as far as I interpreted it, they could request 3 properties to be rezoned without each having to do 3 separate public hearings for 3 properties right in a row.
So, I mean, I don't care because I think it's really smart to be able to do it and save the money. But in the same token, are we messing with our process? Are we creating a can of worms that, I mean, I don't know, especially now if we have somebody else that actually filled out an application, but then they'll just get tucked under this one and won't. Again, I don't expect somebody to, I'm not trying to make them pay more money. I'm just worried a little bit about process.
So my question was, Logan in corporate counsel, if you have these 3 properties and he's applying and we ask that the other property owners around there, wouldn't you start at the north one and ask the next ones up? Every time you had somebody want to.
Yeah,
join
you would
this
have
group,
to.
You should, then it would go up more, so it could end up flowing all the way around the lake, couldn't it?
Yeah,
Theoretically, I'm sorry, Logan, you can answer the question, but theoretically,
Yeah, I
To
mean,
keep it, yeah.
But were they given that opportunity?
so I think what Logan's saying is, if a person wants to rezone an area, we had a subsequent application come in from one of the neighbors who, it was after this application for all 3, right? Did you have a conversation then with that person saying, well, there's already an application to do that?
yeah, and I think the conversation was even before the first one came in, and they weren't sure how to do it either. Like, do we all have to send in applications or, and that's where the guidance was given back, that this can go on one application. One person can request 3 properties to be rezoned.
And my understanding is that then that subsequent application for just that one parcel, I want my parcel. Well, your parcel's already, an application for that is already in. Do you really want to spend $800 on something that's already happening? Well, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, then rescind your application, don't. And that's my understanding of what happened, right, Logan?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So the other application was
Was rescinded.
a neighboring parcel could say, yes, hey, you know what? I want to do that as well. And if they communicate with the people who filled out the application, theoretically, they could then expand it in theory. But that would require them to we as the county aren't going to go and proactively tell people, hey, go rezone your property. That's not our role. Our role is to accept the applications. We can certainly say, well, you know, we're sending out the notice. So like you said, it could certainly result in a chain reaction. And if everyone decides to go talk to each other and all join in, then it could be under one application theoretically. But we as the county, again, it's not our function to go
I
and,
was looking at it that way.
right, it's not our function to go and try to get people to,
What people could do.
right, they could.
So Johnstown with their letter basically said that's the way to do it. By saying it's a blanket, anybody on the lake can do it.
Exactly.
So that, and that's who gets to do the rezoning. So that's kind, they just give the blanket. If you want to do it, do it.
Because why wouldn't
They
you?
Well, they could have got, everybody
No,
they
they weren't
noticed
gonna do it
probably could have got on
themselves.
this.
$800.
What was that?
Everybody within 300 feet or whatever could have got on this $800 one of these, or 10 people could.
It could have
You still
continued.
can, it
Around
sounds
the
like.
lake.
Yeah.
No,
Once it's
because
done, once
no.
it's done, like,
They
you know,
have
then
to-
they'll have to
so
start a new
you just have
application.
to act on the application.
This
that
application.
we have,
Right.
Yes.
and that's all that we have to worry about.
Yeah.
So is it weird? Yes,
Opening
it's
a whole
weird,
can of worms
but it
here.
will be recorded on each of the ID numbers, correct?
Yeah.
This rezone will be recorded on each of the 3 parcel ID.
It'll come up on the GIS of what their zoning is and then
Yes.
the map color.
Yes, the map will be changed.
So it'll go from ag
And in the
20.
future, if
the
another
rest
one
spot.
comes along, in the future, if another one comes along and the next 3 want to do it under one because they band together and do it, it's not like they're applying for a conditional use permit. They're applying for a zoning district change. So it's the allowable uses then, or the change in the setback and things. So,
Yeah.
I agree it's odd, and I do think it probably stems from the classification of the lake in this particular case and what the folks were, trying to do, but
Yeah.
I also agree that, multiple people, you know, I mean, joining on one application, I'm not sure about that process, but, you know, obviously the administrator looked at it and talked with the town and is moving forward, so.
So I think if we add the names, because that's what'll come up on the GIS, that.
Yes,
that
names and parcel identification numbers in the future.
Right, zoning will be on that.
Yeah.
When it comes up then. I think we should, it's,
The
Yeah.
risk too then, if you are trying to rezone a bunch of parcels and you pay the $800 to do that, and you don't own a number of the parcels and someone shows up and says, well, I don't want mine rezoned.
Yeah.
The application is for that entire area. So it gets approved or denied. So you're risking, if you're asking for someone else's property to get rezoned and they show up and that parcel doesn't fit into what it should, okay, well, your application's denied now, and now you have to reapply and pay another $800. So there are mechanisms by which it,
would work and not work.
right. There's a reason for people not to do that.
Sure.
And not to try to rezone areas that don't fit or add extra parcels where they haven't had a conversation with their neighbor that, hey, you know, I want to do this. Do you want to join in?
I just
So-
never knew you.
So in this case, they had the
Yeah.
conversation.
Ever.
They all seem to be in agreement.
There's all agreement.
There's nothing saying that we don't want to do this, so,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty.
It's pretty, as long as this doesn't mess with any of our process, and you said you've did the research that they can do it. That's my big concern, as long as just the process is still okay.
And there's no negative comments from anyone.
Right.
Correct.
So could
Around, so-
somebody say, I want, now, just because this is a new thing to us that we just weren't familiar with, could someone say, I want to rezone this one? And I don't care about the ones next to me. I want to rezone this one over here, and I want to rezone this one over here, even though they don't belong to me.
At that point, I think the zoning administrator would probably say, you know, contact those people, because we did in fact hear from those other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did hear from them. And so I would think the zoning administrator would contact them and they would say, no, we don't want to rezone, or perhaps making sure they were contiguous. I am hearing a little bit from Hannah that all of this started, she wasn't sure of the process when Logan was out, and as things have kind of migrated, you know, in the future, unless we hear from each individual on an application, we probably will try to have everyone do their own rezoning. But in this case, it works.
So in your example, yes, hypothetically, I could do that.
Yeah,
But back to what Joe said, you have the hearing, you pay your money and somebody comes in opposition, we deny it.
oh, yeah, yeah,
That's your check and balance.
but,
That's
Yeah.
a risk.
yeah,
So, like I said, back to this one, you know, everything seems to be on the up and up, so we have to move forward with.
With it, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, this one, I think you're right.
So, yeah, I don't think like if someone came in with an application like that, I can't tell them no, they can still petition it, but it's probably gonna be difficult for them to possibly prove everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not the one to say you can't petition it.
Yeah.
That's just
It's
not.
almost like a lake association, you gotta have 51%. You know, and
I
things
was
like
thinking
that.
the same thing.
You know,
'cause I
it's a
sit
lake
on the
association where they
lakes,
go
and so I'm
around.
like,
Where they could someday go around the lake and, you know, 20 of them will do it one day and 10 the next and then one or whatever, so.
Yeah,
Okay. Pretty much our concerns are answered. All right,
I make a.
so we had, no,
Can't do it yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you have your findings and facts? We have that.
Close the hearing.
Then the conclusion.
Then the
below.
conclusions, yep.
Conclusions of law, changing the zoning of this property to residential agricultural 5, RA 5 is supported by the town of Johnstown and will not have a negative impact on existing public infrastructure. And then the recommendation below. You scroll down, very perfect. Staff recommendation to recommend approval of the rezone to the full county board.
All right. So am I hearing any other questions? If not, we'll close the public hearing
That's good.
at 10:08, whatever. I'll entertain a motion for or against.
I'll make a motion. We approve the zoning.
And add it to the consent agenda.
Yes. Oh, I need a nap.
Justin
And
second.
we got a second from Doug. Anyone, any other questions then? Hearing none then, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that will go on the consent agenda on this month's meeting. It'll make it on it.
Yes.
Okay, so it'll make this month's meeting. Yep,
Thank you. Very helpful.
okay.
You're up.
Hey, we're gonna have some prices going here.
Okay, because I don't like it.
Gonna make sure it's on yours.
Sorry. As a no, I don't.
Good morning. My name is Alex Sandelius. I work for USDA Wildlife Services. Worked here 13 years administering the wildlife damage program in Dunn, Pierce, Pepin, Eau Claire, and Polk. Last spring, Cody Canope unexpectedly left federal service, so I took over administration of the wildlife damage program in Polk County on what I believed at the time to be an interim basis, and I've since learned I will be your man full-time. So I apologize if I known that, I would have came and introduced myself in an earlier meeting instead of waiting for a meeting when I had action for you. But all I have for you today is crop prices. So it's been my experience, every committee in every county likes to do crop prices differently. So the information I think was included with the packet.
Yes.
That is a carbon copy of what Cody Canope had used the last couple of years for this county. So, you know, if there's information or data you would have liked to see that you'd like me to include in the future, I can make note of that. But for this year, this is all yeah. And, you know, it's this committee's ability to set crop prices. I'm agnostic. I'm indifferent to what the crop prices are. So I'm not advocating for any of these prices. This is just some data to help you all come to a conclusion for each commodity. Having said that, I'll need a price for corn, soybeans, rye as a grain, not straw, and some nursery stock trees. And I don't know if you want me to read through this or you all looked at it or how you want to handle it from here.
Let's start with the corn price. What do we think, Justin? You're
Number two.
number two?
I agree.
This is easy. I like this.
Well, we got two out of,
For sure.
how about everybody else? Number 2 is good on the corn?
I mean, that's actual what
Yeah.
corn price was at harvest, and that is what it is.
Okay.
Rye's a little high.
So I think if we go through, then we'll vote on the end. If we,
Yes.
yeah, I think we have to, for each one.
Um,
All right.
Rye's like $4, not $6.12.
How much?
4.
Yeah, I don't even know where you can sell rye around here. Right? Exactly.
At harvest, it was 4 and 4 1/4, and there's nowhere to go with it right now. I would say $4 on rye.
$4 on the rye. Okay. Is there a lot of rye in our?
Why? Curious, because I don't think we've had rye before.
think
Was
we've
there
had
a, is there a rye claim?
There is gonna be a rye claim, and, you know, once we get crop prices set and I work through claims, I'll come to a meeting in January or February and present those claims.
Yeah.
And we can dig into it more then if you'd like, but there's gonna be a rye claim for deer damage.
I mean, the rye in general has been planted either as a cover crop or, you
Well,
know,
and there-
cereal rye in this area.
But I mean.
And then there
the-
was some harvested, yes, but it's
from a
harvested
deer
for
damage
straw
rye
is, yeah.
different To me.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay.
Sorry, we
Thank
plant rye.
Yeah, we do too.
Soybeans, I'm gonna go with, option number 2. That's the fairest at harvest time.
The 990, all right.
And then the trees, what, can you give us a little more? Is this the same claim we had last year too? Because we had a nursery claim last year, if I
Yeah.
remember.
First year was specialty vegetables, remember, was the vegetable ones? And that got a little out of hand, I thought, too.
Mhm.
So like on the tree, the tree situation, Eric, you're still sitting here. What do you guys charge for trees when, I mean, what do you see for value of trees? I guess maybe that's the,
Seems high. That's almost seeming like it's bought, balled and planted for the 280.
It depends on the size.
2-inch, it says.
Yeah, 2 inch.
2-inch hardwood, 2-inch diameter, 280.
Crazy.
Does that seem steep?
Kinda.
I have the sales flyer from the enrollee. He has a planted price and a picked up price, and this is the lesser of the two.
so he's going based off of his retail price, not what would be considered a wholesale or
Yeah.
purchase price.
Correct. And, you know, going back to different, sometimes with some of these specialty things, it's unlike with a grain like corn, it's difficult for me to find an average price for the county because there's so much variability between specialty commodities at a retail level.
So on these, how much, I mean, what he has on his flyers, the 280, the 350 and the 160?
Correct. I can bring that to you if you want to.
No, I don't want to see it because I don't want to know what it is.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just so I clarify what was just stated then, so is this claim setting his own price?
Yes.
That's what's happening, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Because it,
That's
but
the
like
concern.
Justin said, he's setting a whole, not a retail
retail
price,
price.
So I'm thinking,
not a replacement cost.
maybe this isn't a good example, but 4 to 5 foot evergreen, $160. Christmas
Merry
trees
Christmas.
are what, 40 to $70?
If that,
If
yeah.
that,
4
yeah.
to 5 feet. Yeah, that short. Yeah, that's a
So-
short tree.
I mean, I think, maybe give us some guide, I guess maybe, do you have any nursery crops in any other counties that you're working with?
I have enrollees for abatement, Act 82 shooting permits, not enrollees pursuing a claim. So I don't have anything else to give you, any historical precedent or anything like that.
Because how old is a 2 to 2.5 inch hardwood tree gonna be? Inch,
Could be a,
10-year-old, 15-year-old?
no, I don't think
Inch.
that old. I'm thinking 4 to 5.
Yeah, I bet.
It depends on the species too.
Diameter.
And
Mhm.
I will say too, in our tree sales, we're dealing with much smaller trees.
Yeah, you're.
2-year-old
Shooting.
transplants.
Sure.
But yeah, these trees sound like they're 5 to 5 or 5+.
So what would a hardwood tree on the tree sale, what's the, you know, if I come and buy some hardwood trees from you in the tree sale, what are they gonna cost me?
We're anywhere in between $1 to maybe $2.
Okay, and I understand a nursery is gonna have some more work in it. I get that, but
$280 worth.
I mean,
But our trees are,
Yeah, they're just,
Yeah.
they're little.
Yeah, they're
Correct.
very small.
correct. But if them are 2-year-old trees and a 2-inch diameter tree is 5 years old, I should probably start planting trees.
Yeah,
The
that,
other question is, so.
that was the same as the vegetables,
tree,
remember how high all this stuff
We're
was?
talking about deer damage to a 5-year-old tree, right? That's what this whole thing, this.
Buck rub damage,
Okay.
not browse.
I mean, so do you have an idea how many trees, I mean, are we talking like
Oh,
100 trees or 5 trees?
More than 5. I've not done my final appraisal yet. I was waiting to get out there. I'm gonna go out there once we have a price and mark off trees that are rubbed,
And then again, are these damaged or are they destroyed?
unsaleable. I mean,
Saleable. Okay,
If a buck's gonna get after
Yeah.
a tree, it's dead.
okay.
all right. Doug's got a question, yep.
I don't remember doing one of these for a couple of years with a nursery. But didn't the last time we do this, wasn't there an abatement clause in there where they had to put up a fence?
I thought so too. We were just,
That's what
she
we were just talking
mentioned
about.
that, and then it does ring a bell, but
Because you had said you have other people that have abatement agreements, meaning,
meaning they either have had a permanent fence built
uh-huh.
or they were after like Christmas tree browse. They opted to, my prescribed abatement was a shooting permit at the time, because we usually don't jump to the nuclear option of building the $50,000 permanent fence. And when you get a shooting permit, you can opt to enroll as an Act 82.
Yep.
You waive your right to compensation, you get the permit. So then there's no appraisal, there's no price setting. Here's your permit to reduce your damage, good luck.
right,
So I don't have, like, I've not done a nursery stock claim or a Christmas tree claim in any of those West Central counties I've worked for the past decade or so.
See, I think that vegetable one, they had to fence it because that was just
Common sense.
common sense. Yeah, they
Yeah,
kind of
it's
nailed
kinda
us on that one.
Yeah,
Because that came in pretty high too.
this is really high.
Yeah, I don't,
I mean, who
you're
would
not
pay?
helping us.
Well, would the committee look at, since these came off his sale price, you could discuss what you feel his markup is on that tree, whether it's 50% for profit or whatever, and what his actual cost would actually be into that
To replace it.
to replace it, to try to come to a number, but
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I would say we should just pick a number to replace that hardwood. I think $90 would be high.
what's the process if you would recommend to have them do, or can't you recommend to have them do an abatement in the future?
They were prescribed, to be eligible for a claim, you have to be prescribed abatement. And he had tree guards on almost all these trees.
Okay,
It's to deter rubbing by.
okay,
And some of them failed and the
Got it.
bucks got through them. If this starts rolling towards an annual thing where then we'll explore other abatement options, like perhaps building a permanent fence or perhaps getting him a shooting permit and waive the antlerless requirement.
right, okay,
This year, his prescribed abatement was tree guards and some of them failed.
got it.
How many trees does this person have?
I don't know.
Well, more than 5, he said.
Got hurt, but I mean, some total,
More than 5 damage.
yeah.
Because you're gonna have normal death loss on trees too.
Yeah.
In a nursery setting, you'll have some normal, I guess that would be a question I would be interested in, what's his normal mortality?
Okay.
Because I mean, we're talking 10 trees, let's hypothetically, if we're talking 10 trees, and it's a percentage, right? If I remember right, it's a percentage of the total that they get. If they claim 10 trees and, let's just say 10 hardwood trees, they're gonna be you know, if we went with this number, that's $2,800. Is he getting
There's a
$2,800?
$500 deductible, and then any damage amount over $5,000, they get 8% of that up into the cap of 10 grand. So if he had $2,000 in damage, less the $500 deductible, he'd be paid a claim for $1,500.
We have some up in Sterling, the corn that were every year, get
Yeah.
almost the max, the 10, and then they're in both counties, so they get Burnett and
Yeah.
us. So I think we just gotta come up with a price if we think it's 50% or more or whatever, and just live with it, huh?
Another option would be I do more digging for you. When I come to do claim approval, there's 2 separate actionable items. Set the price for the trees before the following item.
I don't think we have enough information to make an
I don't
accurate
think so
decision.
either.
For the tree part.
Right, at least. not
I
for the
think if
freezer.
you could do some more digging, I think that would be a better than just shooting it in the dark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because in my mind right now, if we got a 2-year-old tree and we're charging
$2.
$2 for it, I mean,
Doubles in 3 years.
I have a hard time even giving $50 for it. I mean, I understand, you know, there's time in
Yeah.
balling it and
Right.
pruning them and, you know, getting them going. I get all.
But there's also risk in being in the business.
Exactly.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
have a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm a little, maybe a little jaded about the
Do
whole
any of
program.
these people have crop insurance that this is beyond their crop insurance, or do they have none? I mean,
I don't know.
Is that an overlap anywhere?
It's an absolute.
Per,
Is it?
Probably.
That's a complicated situation because corn and soybeans are gonna probably more than well, depends on, there's some people that don't carry crop insurance.
Okay.
Corn and beans typically will be insured, but the way that crop insurance is set up now, it's not per unit. So like if I had 40 acres that got heavily damaged, but my other 160 acres was fine, I'm not gonna have an insurance claim.
Well, you can set it up that way.
Well,
You
you
just have to
can.
pay more,
It costs you more, so
Yes.
most people are enterprise, so everything's
Right.
lumped together.
right?
Rye is not typically insured unless you have, through the FSA office, NAP coverage.
Yeah, coverage.
And so rye is typically not covered, and the nursery stock could also, I believe, be covered by NAP. But I
You can
don't,
have, there is nursery coverage for crop insurance though too, in some
Yeah.
areas. Depends on if you're.
so there, I mean,
Nobody carry it.
that may or may not.
So there is some
There could-
crossover could
There
happen.
could be.
So we should just set the corn, soybeans, rye, and have them come back for the tree.
Yes.
To be
If you can
determined.
do a little more digging, then
okay.
I think,
So what you want to know, total number of trees he has, number of trees damaged, which will be demonstrated in the
you
claim.
know,
His normal mortality,
well, cause he's gonna have buck rubs probably every year, I'm thinking.
if he does, he hasn't called us,
Right.
but,
But we should just some other nurseries to see what it is.
yeah, so I mean, some of the, I'm not just gonna ask him because he could tell me anything.
You know.
So I'll
Right.
try to get a county kind of average, if you will.
Sure.
And then I don't know how to determine, you mentioned his markup. I mean, I'm not,
I don't wanna get in what his markup is. I think we need to
That's too
determine the
much.
value of the.
The value of the
Because
tree,
in
yeah.
theory, we should try to be objective. Like if there's anybody that comes through with a 2-inch diameter hardwood, it shouldn't matter who they are, or where they are in the county. We should have a flat price.
Right.
It should
Yeah.
have a base value.
That's why I didn't wanna know.
Right. Who it was or, right.
so if I got prices for these varieties of trees from a number of nurseries in Polk and St. Croix and an adjoining county, with that,
That would help to average it out at least.
Well,
I mean, they're all gonna be,
the problem though is you're still getting retail.
Yeah.
not-
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
Wholesale price or not, you know,
right.
if you're, you know, selling it to another vendor.
Well, is corn and everything else retail or is
No,
it
it's all commodity, but
That's a
commodity.
commodity?
So
I
it's
mean,
a
because-
different market.
Yeah, you can't compare the markets.
No,
Yeah.
the market's totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, cause if we wanted to compare the markets, we could go back to Eric's tree sale and say,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, your cost in your tree is $2. Sorry.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about a different stage in life.
I get that.
They've been tended and
Yep.
trimmed
Yep.
and prepared for, whatever
Yours.
purpose,
Yeah.
trees or otherwise. So, I mean, it is really
It's a difficult one
difficult
to,
to figure out what their percentage markup would be because they're starting at a seedling or a transplant and rearing that individual tree for quite a long time. So I think you gotta, look at other comparables.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so for the three, we can agree on.
Yep.
Corn, soybeans, and rye.
Yep.
Or yeah, 3.
Do we need a motion for that, or I don't think so, do we? If we have agreed on that, I don't think we need a formal motion on it or anything.
Unanimous.
What?
It's unanimous.
So says Tracy.
Unanimous consent.
So that was 379 for corn, 4 for rye, and 990 for soybeans?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right, and then you'll come back, so we'll have two action things then, like you said. We'll have action on the price of the nursery trees and then on the claims.
Yep, where that will get a hair complicated is that, you know, the claim forms that I need the chairperson to sign or whoever is signature authority in this county, you know, that's an electronically produced document that has a bunch of calculations of the claim amount based on a commodity price.
Okay,
So I won't be able to have that ready for you to sign. So we're gonna have to do some math during that meeting and say, whatever price you all decide on, then calculate the claim amount.
good.
Then I'll have to come back with a form after that and have someone re-sign it.
Yeah, I usually sign those, so that'll be all right.
So,
do you know what kind of hardwoods them are by any chance?
so this price is the same for all his varieties of hardwoods: autumn blaze maple, emerald luster, sugar maple, willow, aspen, green spire, linden. And that's it. And for evergreen, all his varieties are the same price based on diameter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tracy. To be determined.
We'll be
Giving them nothing. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
How many claims do you have this year?
It'll be 7. When I come to that next meeting, I'll provide a detailed list of enrollment in the county. I think there were, let's see, 16 enrollees, 7 claims.
So
You'll recognize many of the names.
we used to have 17, 18, if you remember. So it's gone, cut down in half almost, yeah.
Must not like me.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
yes,
Nice
so
to
we'll
meet
put
you.
you on the next meeting. Is it the next meeting,
January
the January meeting?
or February?
Alec will have to let us
You
know.
need to know. So
When do you,
once I have a crop price, I can work through all the claims and then meet with the enrollees and get their signature. And sometimes it's hard to track these guys down. So
January,
you'll be gone?
January.
Okay, so you want to do the February meeting? Is that soon enough for you?
yeah, when these claims, we have to have them into the DNR by March 1st. So it's either got to be January or February. February does give me more time to get this all cleaned up and make sure I've got everything.
Okay. So we would put that in.
Especially with the tree situation.
Yep,
So we would put you on the February meeting.
perfect.
Okay, so that's to let you know. Okay.
February 4th.
February 4th, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Our shoreline update, are we, so are you gonna? You gave us the other packet that I asked for, the page from the DNR, so we should take this, read it, come back with all our questions and markups.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good route to go.
At least we gotta get started that way. Is that what, how about everybody else? We had a little time to read some of it, but now we have this other form, so let's,
Agenda item for January?
yes.
Agenda item for January?
Could I possibly just go over a couple of the things that aren't specifically called out there that I think you guys should at
Yes.
least think about?
Yes, yes, do that. Yes, if you have a few.
There's not too many, yeah. It's just-
Yes, let's, yeah, if you have any other ones that are in there or something, let's make sure we're.
So you'll see in there that the zoning districts are highlighted in red. I just want that to be a discussion at least, because that is kind of causing some issues, because we have specific acreage requirements in there. We have specific height requirements. And as you'll see in her comments, a lot of those have to be taken out because they're considered more restrictive. So this is where we're running into having our zoning districts in our shoreline ordinance is causing some issues. I think you can do it either way. You can take all that stuff out of there, which is a little bit different because in the comprehensive, it's gonna be 5 acre minimum for mining, but we can't have it in shoreline, say 5 acre minimum. Whereas it gets a little unique having these zoning districts in here.
Absolutely twice.
The main area that it's going to affect is in an unzoned town. Currently, by having these zoning districts in there, there's zoning district requirements in unzoned towns in the shoreline area. If for some reason these were taken out of that, unzoned towns would not have a use district in those areas. So that's just something to think about of a repercussion. If it did get removed from the shoreland, it would still all be in the comprehensive and get enforced in every town that has county zoning. But in unzoned towns, they wouldn't have zoning districts. It would just be a shoreland overlay. They'd follow the shoreland ordinance. The uses wouldn't be in there like they are now. And then the town zones, they would also then be enforcing their uses in their areas because they don't have county zoning. But as you'll go through, I just want to make sure you'll see like she had all the density requirements highlighted because a lot of those are stating certain lot size per acreage, and the DNR stated that that's all more restrictive than the shoreline. We can't have that in our shoreline. It can be in our comprehensive and enforced in those county zoned areas, but we can't have it specifically in our shoreline ordinance.
So in short, Logan, I just want to summarize what you're saying is that if we want our different setbacks, different requirements that are based on zoning, zone districts, they really need to be taken out of shoreland because she's saying you cannot make anything tighter if it falls underneath the shoreland zoning.
Exactly.
So if we leave the zoning districts in shoreland zoning, basically a lot of the requirements of the zoning districts are gonna have to change.
Yep, anything that's
more
conflicts with the shoreline.
Yep, okay. I just I'm trying to summarize what you're, because I do know at one point there was discussion that there was a reason in the past that they wanted the zoning districts in shoreland. I thought that was, somebody had made that comment a long time ago, but maybe not. So, okay, I'll just leave that up to the.
We tried to separate it, didn't we? Shoreline would be a standalone.
It used to just be a standalone overlay.
Yeah.
And it was just treated as a standalone ordinance. Then with the rewrite, then the merge of the two happened. But as Logan stated.
Rewrite when?
2019.
The 20, okay,
Yeah.
the 2019 rewrite,
Yeah.
not
Not
that we've been
now.
doing,
This
no,
is
the
not.
2019,
rewrote.
okay, yes.
No, we haven't rewrote anything.
Oh, I know, but we've been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And I
so in
was in
2019 is when it got, the zone districts got pulled in under shoreline, okay.
And that's where I think underneath the first, under residential, her comment states this, the purpose and intent has to be tied to shoreline, right? Whereas right now, the purpose and intent is the same in both, saying
Right.
this is our purpose of the residential zoning district. But she's saying you have to make it specific to shoreline if it's in the shoreline ordinance.
Yes.
So if we keep them in there and, make the changes, we need to change the purpose and intent to be specifically for shoreline, not just general for everywhere in the county.
Anywhere, yeah.
So that's where I think that will be some discussion on that.
Yeah.
As you guys go through, you'll see the areas that were required because of those that were just explained. Another thing that I would like to at least bring up for you guys to look at is in page 2 of the first document.
Page 2 of the first.
Yep.
That's the one, this one you handed out.
No, sorry, in the packet.
Oh.
The first 2 of 46, yeah. Under G, so we've had in our ordinance where it states structures less than 64 square feet do not require a permit. Her comment was the shoreline requires a permit for all structures within the shoreline area. We can't say that something doesn't require a permit.
So her proposal is we can say there's no fee for these permits, but then it becomes if we're still looking at it administratively, is that the right way to go or not? But because we're probably still gonna have to check setbacks, or we will have to check setbacks. So that's where that comment came from, because I could see that being a question as of why that has, or why she had that required to be removed.
And I apologize, I missed what was specifically was that?
Page.
G,
G.
page 2, the first on the red line.
But where is it in here?
In the first set or the second set? So this is the one.
Right there, right on the bottom of this page. Right
For the first set.
Yep.
Yeah, so the first set is our current ordinance, so that's the reference that she would have been referencing, I believe.
212. But there's not a specific comment though on the summary sheet though.
Summary sheet.
There's not a 212 reference.
The 213.
In a 211.
Correct, but there's not a 212 reference on this set. So that was but her requirement, her
And up
request.
here,
Mhm.
so at the top, it says move to 42-13.
Right.
That'd be the 213 G.
But even in 213,
2G, 213G.
Yeah, that's what it would have to be, right?
For all structures.
oh,
shall
there you
be
go.
septic
Yep,
tank.
thank you. You're right. Good job, Tracy.
So hers is referenced,
Can see.
The G.
yeah. So the first one, the first document is our current ordinance.
Right.
What we sent her was with edits, so that's what changed the numbers. So her comments came back to this document 2. Document 1 is our current ordinance. So that's why the reference is changed by one number, is because we had to make those changes from what we sent her. So her references in the comments are not to our current ordinance. It's to the ordinance we sent her for review.
These comments are for document 2.
Correct.
Thank you.
These comments.
Yes.
Yep. Document 2.
The other section was page 28 of that, 28 of 46. That whole section was highlighted. That is the access portion that restricts easements with certain requirements. You'll see her comments asking, if this is good by our corp counsel. This is some of that language that's currently in litigation, so I just probably should look at that while we have it open right now. And maybe at a future meeting, there could be, I don't know if there needs to be a comment from corp counsel specifically on the thoughts on that section that was put in there and approved by the DNR. Now it's being looked at being like, hey, is this legit? You should check with your corp counsel to see if this language can be in there as far as the restriction on the easements.
This is part of one of the lawsuits, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm not prepared to comment on it.
That's okay.
Chicken.
At least put it on your radar as far as a section to take a look at. And then the other section is page 32 and 33 of that same document. It was highlighted completely in the comments. It states permit or a conditional use permit required for the following items. And she's wondering what requires a conditional use permit, and you look through there and it doesn't say anything about a conditional use permit. So I think we need to clean that section up a little bit. And it may be as easy as just taking out that conditional use permit line. I want to dig into it a little deeper because there must have been some reason it was in there, but I can't find where, because that's where a pedestrian access is under. So I don't know where a conditional use permit would be pulled underneath that specific section. Because that one kind of just lists additional things that you can do in the shoreline protection area.
But I've never ran across where someone needed a conditional use permit for one of those. It's either a land use permit that's allowed or no. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if there is no.
She's wondering why that's in there exactly, which
It might
I
have,
haven't found why yet.
I was gonna say it might have just got left in.
Maybe it's just a coverall
Yeah.
in case there's a.
But usually a conditional, we have permitted and conditional use in a list. And if there's nothing under the conditional use,
Yeah.
it would just be a permanent issue, yeah. So that might just got left or something, yeah. Call it a typo and just take it.
Wait,
You're the boss.
a permit is a permit. I mean,
No, the conditional use part,
exactly.
Yeah,
Take out conditional use because it's still a permit.
yeah,
We say permit, so it's still a permit.
yeah. Just take that
That's
part.
just,
All uses by permit in shoreline protection.
Two cents are good.
And then the last one on document 1 is page 43. There was some requested or there's some required changes, I think one of these were one of her suggestions as far as what we should require in our applications. So as of right now, I did put in the location of sanitary system and building plans that include some sort of elevation or floor plans. So that would be something you guys would want to probably take a look at. The sanitary system's required on the application, but it's not, it says it on the application that you need to include it, but in the ordinance, it doesn't say you have to have it in there. So that one for sure should be in there because we do require it for setbacks and everything.
So we should have well in there too, because that's determines where things go to.
Yeah, I don't think, because we wouldn't enforce the well setback for a building or anything. That would be the building inspector. But I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have it in there, but I don't think we would have any
Well,
enforcement.
it would prove the sanitary system is not encroached too. So if we do the sanitary system, you have to do the well, because they both.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah,
But that's right.
they have the 50-foot and all that.
That's in the sanitary ordinance.
Yep.
This is for land use. So for land use, we require setbacks to a drain field, a tank. We don't check the well for any building in our land use ordinance. That's DNR jurisdiction. I see what you're saying, that we do look at that, but that's in our sanitary.
It's in the sanitary.
Not in the land use, but
Still could be added in here.
yeah, because
First, it should be on the drawing every time they do it. I mean, if you come in, you have to know, otherwise, like them lots there, if they're too small, where do you put a sewer and a well? Doesn't fit. You know, so I think we gotta kind of look, we gotta have,
Time where that would be a hindrance to have the well on there or?
no, I don't think it is. I just didn't know if it was
with
something.
the sanitary permit, we have to show a well, I mean, to prove that we're, in the setbacks there. So it probably, that's just something that could be,
So would you put D back in?
D was added.
Crossed off. You reword it and put D back in.
I think D was crossed out because it just says whether or not there is gonna be a system out there. Whereas now we're just saying the location of the system needs to be on the application. So I think D and what's being replaced with D is covering the same thing as far as, at least that was the intent of,
So D can just be reworded to say location of sanitary system and well.
yeah.
or D, well, yeah. Yeah, just add well in there, so I wrote it on mine, yeah.
so. Question, I don't want to go down too far, but here we've got on that 2C, scale sketch of the dimensions of the lot and location of the building, the lot lines, and then highways and high water marks. Would we need to actually set up floor plans? Wouldn't we just need the elevation? Aren't a big concern just elevation?
Yeah, that's mainly elevation is what most of the restrictions are. Some of these a floor plan can tell you a little bit more about what's actually going to be built out there, but I mean, elevation as far as the restriction in the ordinance, elevation's the main thing. Floor plans is kind of giving you a better understanding of what this structure is going to be.
Well, for runoff and stuff too, you have to have the floor.
For instance,
Square footage.
Okay, I'm just looking at, as far as asking for more things at this time, we've got the scale sketch of kind of the footprint. So wouldn't it be the footprint plus the elevation? Because that's what our concerns are. At this point is our concern, literally the floor plans. This is the size of the den and this is the size of the bedrooms. Is that really our concern at this point?
No. It's the total because of the percentage for runoff.
Right, so that would be your totals.
Yeah, but if you
Your
do a
total
floor plan,
footprint.
Dimension.
Right, the outside dimension.
10-foot ceilings, 8-foot ceilings, you end up over 35 feet too. So that's the elevation part.
Because you don't care about the inside dimensions, you just care about.
You need the outside,
Right, that's what I'm saying, the footprint and the elevation. Am I,
but that's actually a floor plan, so that's how you just.
okay, because I'm thinking a floor plan has all the sizes of all the rooms and all that stuff.
It probably does, but you still want the you have to know.
and that's one example on that
That's the one that had the extra 5 feet on top that he just did because he thought he could, and he's still there.
It's still there?
It's still there.
So yeah, that specific section there, one area where it could come into play, and it has recently, someone just pulls a permit for a building, they got the height on there, they got their footprint on there, and then our ordinance states something has to be a single story, and then you go out there and there's 2 stories. So that's where a floor plan could help you be like, we would have saw that ahead of time, whereas now we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, your permit said everything, but now our ordinance says single story and yours is 2 stories. So that's where it gets, floor plans can help in reviewing a permit, but
Where are these stairs going?
yeah.
The ordinance, so we have a height
It's an attic.
restriction, but we also have a,
It's an attic.
Boathouse can only be 1 story.
well, that's for the boathouse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, come on. But I want to.
If you bury the bottom half, you put a top on it.
That a double decker boat?
That's what they did.
Yes.
Okay, all right, sorry, thank you.
And then I only got a couple more, and these are in the new document, or the second
Shame on
document,
you. Here goes your 2 cents again.
that were highlighted, page 25 of 51. And that's in the recreational, business and commercial. We have requirements in there that state maximum building lot coverage and minimum landscaped area. So there was a comment from the DNR on that, where that's towing the line of being more restrictive when you're saying you have to have a certain amount of this or you're a max of that. It should be what the shoreline requires, which it looks pretty obvious that this was just taken right from the comp and put in here as the same conditions, but that's where she's saying is those 2 conditions probably shouldn't be in the shoreline because impervious surface coverage is covered by the shoreline ordinance. Whereas underneath this, now we're saying you have a maximum building lot coverage of 30%. And then your minimum landscaped area of 10%. So if you just read that in itself, you'd say 30% is it for the whole lot. Impervious surface says if you treat that impervious surface, it doesn't count. So that's where it can be conflicting. And so that's why she highlighted that section.
There's an extra S in setbacks and D.
I just saw that too. Thank you.
So you.
Super setback.
They're super.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then another section that was added since we last went over the ordinance. And this was kind of due to both recommendation from the DNR and conversations, and then also in experiences we've had. So an ADA section is recommended to have in there. So you're covering an instance where someone is, sorry, it's under F on 34.
Wait, can we stop first?
Yep.
On page 22, the next one, it's got setback requirements, just like it does on 25. On 27, I mean. On 27 at the top, it says setback requirements in there in red, just like we just talked about on 25.
The commercial district, yeah, you highlighted them.
All business and commercial.
Yeah, so they're in.
So they should be.
Same problem.
Same problem.
Yeah, I think she maybe only highlighted it in one area.
It's
You've got it
highlighted.
highlighted.
Oh, it is highlighted,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you're just, I'm just calling it.
Calling it out.
for our attention.
So that we do. it
Okay,
both
sorry, now.
areas, yeah.
What page did you say?
Uh,
33.
32?
page 34 of 51. And it's F at the top there.
That's new.
Yeah, this is language that I would request you guys look at to see what you feel on it. This was kind of looking at other ordinances and how they have their ADA language in there, specifically in their ordinance. It stated that this should be in the ordinance, not a process that somebody goes through for a variance for ADA standards. So this is why we're proposing to add something in there to cover if someone does want to go this route, this is what needs to be shown in order to get a permit for that.
So
That whole section is new.
for the risk of sounding harsh, and I'm not meaning to, but we realize that ADA standards can be very, very broad. I mean, we like to think of it personally, it's like people that are absolutely blind or absolutely in a wheelchair, but you can say, I have a, ADHD or
Yeah.
whatever, or anxiety that can fall under an ADA standard as well.
Yeah.
Yep, and so.
And this too steep of a step gives me stress.
Yeah.
So therefore I want X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and so there are many, many things that fall under ADA
Yes.
protections. The current process is if a person wants to deviate from what our rules are, they have to apply for a variance. So we already have a process that's just cumbersome, and ultimately there is probably a better way to go about it
Okay.
than to have a person have to go in front of a board and present a lot of information that the board isn't necessarily, and then I have to go and give advice on
Sure.
what the ADA
Yep.
requires
Yep.
and does this comply with ADA, does this not, et cetera. What this would do is give the zoning administrator, instead of going through that entire rigmarole, would give the zoning administrator the authority to receive the information, consult with me potentially. Then the zoning administrator would make a determination of what he or she believes is a reasonable accommodation. So regardless of whether or not you have an ADA compliant disability, the question is whether or not we have to make a reasonable accommodation, and it's a reasonable accommodation,
Right,
This-
the
this
bar
step is-
reasonable.
1 inch
Right.
and that,
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
And that isn't gonna really probably be a problem,
Okay.
is what I would say.
So we're not putting more pressure on the zoning administrator by adding this or opening them up for more issues by adding this.
No, I think Logan's position is that this help facilitate the process
Okay.
and probably take some pressure off, really.
Because if,
I'd be concerned about the where practical be terminated when the facility is no longer used by the disabled person. How are you gonna know that?
And that's why,
Yeah.
so the requirement under ADA, as I understand it, is that the reasonable accommodation is only required to the extent that the property owner has an ADA compliance issue. And so we can make sure of that by being aware of when that property transfers hands. Once that property transfers hands, then that permit falls off. And that's one of the other reasons that we want to do it this way as opposed to a variance, because having a variance that then falls off is a lot more difficult to track than having a permit that falls off with the transfer of the property.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for the.
this is how I think a lot of other counties in the state try to make sure that they're in compliance with ADA.
yeah, and like C there states that a deed, it has to be recorded on the deed. So that way that's on there as well. So if someone comes to buy this, they're like, whoa, that's a cool, ramp down to the lake. They'll be like, oh, we got to take that out if we buy this. It's not something that we can keep if.
Right, that's what it is. Yes. Yep. Thank you. Okay.
So
I think I said property owner or someone who resides there.
Yeah.
That's.
So yeah, if you take a look at that and just see if there's any language in there that you either want to add to, take out, I think that would be a good discussion. This is kind of what I started with, but that's, or if you have any questions on exactly how that would be carried out. But yeah, getting it away from the variance because there's some issues with a variance being approved really shouldn't be, hey, you have a variance, now we're taking the variance away. A variance should be, you got the variance, you have it. Whereas now this way you can condition the permit to say it's got to be removed at this time.
Got it.
Then the only other thing is the same as what was in document 1, but on that next page 35 is that same section of allowed uses by permit or conditional use permit in the shoreline protection area. So I just highlighted that. The may mainly stay the same after you guys take a look at it and just take out the conditional use permit section. Or if there's anything in there that you guys see, request any changes, discuss those as well. Otherwise, I think those are the only things that I wanted to
highlight.
that you probably wouldn't have picked up. You would probably have looked at me like, wait, where did this come from? Or why is this red?
Sure.
So it was tough to get it all on that.
Yes.
That's why we'd have a meeting just to go through it.
Yes.
Great job.
And this
Good
help.
job, Logan. Yes.
That helped too, yeah, because I've been
That's a work. Yes.
dashing and digging on it. All right. So let's jump right into tourist rooming house compliance. Was the question.
I do have a application for everyone, so you can take a look at that. If there's any questions or comments. So this is currently what someone will receive if they're applying for a tourist rooming house. So from the public comment that was made, I kind of gathered three main things that were the high points of it. I think one of the main concerns is that we don't have anything on our application that states, hey, I'm starting renting this date. And then we know that the 180 days will start then. So I think that's something to be discussed. How it works exactly, I don't know, as far as if someone puts a date down there and it says, hey, we ended up not, or is it just, hey, this is the date you're starting, whether you do it or not? And legally, I don't know exactly how that fits either. But I know that was a point made, and I think it is valid, because if we say it runs for 180 days consecutive, but we don't have a technical start date on our end, if someone calls and says they've been going for 230 days renting this, without looking at the Airbnb logs. Whereas if there's something on it, we can say, well, yeah, their permit says they were gonna start February 1st, their 180 days goes till August 1st, and they're renting in October. It might be a little bit better on enforcement from our side of things, but.
So didn't they, when we talked about that before, Logan, didn't we somehow ask for a calendar of their start and end time, like their months that they were looking at? Because some wanted winter months and some wanted
So,
a combination of both.
yeah,
So, I mean, did we not kind of ask for that, or can't you ask for that?
I think it was discussed, but I don't think it was ever put in
As-
anything as far as in the ordinance that that's required. But maybe we can, administratively get that calendar. The calendar gets a little bit,
It'd
almost be easier to get a start date.
Both, winter months
Yeah.
and into summer, and then some just wanted all summer, someone, so I mean, there was like, it was really gray when they were, and we're like, oh, why not a calendar of?
Yeah, and I think the way
they were trying to split it up then
Yeah,
too, some,
yeah.
but it says consecutive, and we went by the state, I think.
correct, yeah,
So, like you said, a start date would be
I think so. I'll
then
start
hundred and
next.
80 days.
Just add that, to me, that would just, I don't see where corporate counsel can add it, jump in, but that seems like that should be a legitimate part of the application.
And if you put a start date on, you should be able to put your end date too.
Right.
Yeah.
Starting it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it should, I mean, you should. be-
Here's when you could rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you put a start date on there.
You didn't fulfill your window.
Yep.
Do you know how other counties track tourist rooming houses? Is there specific softwares that are designed to assist in the administration of these things?
I think there are some counties that do have, softwares that help with this. I guess I'm not super versed on.
They have third party ones doing
And
it.
yeah,
Some of them have a third party doing it
But it's like,
because you,
Like the
they
pump-
feel that knows it's you.
yeah, like the pumpers going in and tracking things for septic.
Yeah.
If you want to operate a tourist rooming house, you have to have a login and you track it and then we can administer it a little bit more easy because you can see how it becomes kind of an administrative nightmare if,
Yeah.
everybody gets to pick their start date. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That, it should be, yes. How many do we have that are registered right now?
Keywords registered.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I don't know off the top of my head.
So there's what, like there's like 400 or 500 on the internet and we don't have that many, do we,
No.
registered?
Yeah, we don't have that many permits. I know that.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I guess I
I
could
can
ask
get that number though.
Okay.
Tanya. Obviously, we work in tandem with,
With health.
Health. So, and it's set up.
Can help us out too? Can they, I mean, if they have to do it yearly too.
what we're doing with them is we're kind of tapping into their correspondence letters and things to at least remind people that they need to have proper, zoning permits as well. So we're trying to work together with them, at least on the communication side.
But they have enforcement too, don't they?
Yeah, and I think the difference is, at least when we met with them, is theirs is a license, so they're just going off
Oh,
of
yeah,
license for making sure that building is safe for people to stay there. They don't have I don't think there's any restriction on days or people maybe, but,
Should be amount of people that's
There's control
restricted,
based
yeah.
on sewers.
and so that's where it's kind of a license there and a permit here, so it's,
Sure.
we work together to make people aware of that they're both a thing, but as far as their enforcement, I don't know how much crossover there would be because they're just looking at it. Well, I guess if they failed something, our conditions state you have to meet all the other
All the other
requirements.
conditions.
So that could be a fallback where,
That you crisscross a little.
yeah, we lost our,
Now, if they have an enforcement issue, do they come to you, Joe? Health and Human Services?
If they have an enforcement issue,
Yes.
yeah, a lot of times if they have questions about what they can't do, what their first steps are, et cetera, they'll come and staff a case.
Okay, so they do come to you too. So I mean, it would be an overlap. If there's something, because they have quite a few requirements also, don't they?
Yes.
With their stuff. So, all right. So are we looking at possibly third party or a better,
Well, I
or
just
there's some
think-
software? Yeah. Keep up better?
What is, you talk about software, kind of nice if you had a report, like, January 1, you have this many operating, or which ones they are.
If you had a software, you could print reports like
Yeah.
that.
Well, I think there are specific applications. Didn't St. Croix County have a software that they use? I'm
No,
sorry
they're
that
out
it's escaping me, the specific county, but I even remember at the Wisconsin counties, meeting,
Association.
yeah, talking about, some specific softwares that were available. Of course, I don't know the costs and I don't know all of those things, but maybe next year's budget cycle, if you see an AFR come through for specific
Yeah.
software, we'll discuss it at that time. And at this, we can try to at least see what's out there and available for the county.
Like you said, like the pumpers, it might be something that simple.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple, but yeah. Little
but
like,
then it's more enforceable. I mean, we got people, we didn't start till the 15th, because nobody did it the first 10
Right.
days, and their start dates
Those are the
change.
ones who don't have the permits, by the way.
Yes, most of them don't have. There's quite a few, so.
we'll look into that, but I mean, right now, I think the topic to have on the committee for discussion was at least to look at the application, try to make some of those adjustments, make it to address some of the concerns as far as administration goes.
Wasn't one of the other suggestions, and maybe you haven't kind of started talking about other things. You've got a couple other listed?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them, the next one was about some sort of language that makes the applicant aware that what they're following. From my perspective, I feel like that line right above the signature is doing that. It states, I declare that this application, including any accompanying documents, has been examined by me and to the best of my knowledge and belief, it is true, correct, and complete. I agree to permit the county officials charged with administering county ordinances or other authorized personnel, including the assessor, to have access to the above described premises at any reasonable time for the purposes of inspection. If you guys feel like that's not exactly, is something more, but
No, I think there does need to be something more because this is the application. I've filled out the application, but I think the point is I understand the rules that are listed on page 2. So underneath the rules, like if it's a 2-page, it's a checkbox or signatures that I have read and understand the rules and agree to the rules that I've set forth in the ordinances.
Or conditions, yeah.
Or the conditions, or however you want to say it, because this is, I filled it out. Yep, I have filled it out. The point was, I've read and understand the conditions and agree to them.
like a 2-part signature maybe on, or have the signature after the conditions.
Right.
Or a checkbox. I like the idea of a checkbox.
Right, or a checkbox or something that, just that, like the terms and agreement, the checkbox that you do for a lot of other things is
Yeah.
like, I have read and understand and basically agree to these rules.
There's a checkbox.
Yeah, the check, so very funny.
But it could be on the backside, right under, so that they have to actually turn it over.
Right, so however, wherever that looks, but that's part of feeling, but I do think that it needs to be more of, have read and understand and agree to these rules.
I like that.
Because that's the same as, well, you go on the internet, get on the GIS, you have to you gotta read it
accept.
and agree.
Yeah.
Yep, everything you have to do, I read it, yep.
Because in essence, that's holding you bound, because this is just saying, I filled this out. This is holding you bound that I've read them and I accept them as part of
I
this
read,
application.
understand, and accept, and
As part of
agree
this
with,
application,
and agree
and,
with
you
the
know.
conditions.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they don't technically have to agree with them, but they have to accept them and understand them. So it's holding them bound to this, to the rules.
To the conditions on
To
the
the
back
conditions.
page, A through whatever, yeah. That
Okay.
makes
So
sense.
did
I like
something
that.
come up also about like, what's the citation or whatever? So like on G, it's got
The
property
enforcement,
must remain free from citation and charges for nuisance, disorderly conduct or other illegal activity. So what is the penalty if there is some?
see, that's, we have that, I think, there'll be some penalties.
I have a hand.
Descriptions,
I
because we,
think that came up as like, what do you
I
do?
think in the ordinance, we went through that.
We
Remember
have a
Bob
penalty?
Kasparsky had a deal where we went through steps 1, 2, and 3 or whatever to do it.
Yeah, but
but I
that's
don't know
not in
that-
the
It's not in the ordinance, was it just in the
That's just our process.
process? That's just a process.
Yeah, so underneath, in our ordinance, we have, in 42-147, where it states, where conditions of a land use permit, conditional use permit, or a variance is violated, the same are deemed revoked. So that's where if those conditions are violated, we do have that language in there that states that permit deemed revoked in there.
That should be added to this list
Yep, right on the end of it.
on the end. So
Yeah.
whatever that says, if conditions are, whatever that language is, that needs to be on here that they are checking to too.
Yeah.
Referring it to a number to look at.
Well, the number and the description doesn't sound like it's that long of a statement.
No, but if it's added, it's right there.
Yep. So I'm reading, here's my rules. And by the way, if I break them, it's deemed revoked. Period. And then I agree and I understand and agree to these terms by signing below or checking this box to
Yeah.
submit this application.
Yeah.
So the other, I'm sorry, I just.
Yeah.
The 24-hour contact number, would there be a line to put that in there?
Are we what?
The 24-hour contact number, because that was, I thought, something that came up too. Because I don't think anywhere,
It's got a phone number, but is that the
That's the
24-hour contact
owner.
number?
but
They
Right.
put it in their, rules that they have to have for their renters.
Renters.
Everybody's
would
got a
it be good
free
for us to
reminder.
have it?
Absolutely.
For available to the public.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So,
So can they could we have them put it right on the
put
application?
the line right next to that. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Got lines going, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
everywhere. We're doing lots of
just
shit.
off the end of it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a
I
good
think the
idea.
and then put number is or something.
Because that's part of your application.
Yeah, because then someone can pull up the permit online and it's right there. So if they're
Yep.
like, well, I don't have it, but find it at least. if I
Yeah.
need to.
You're really getting in the weeds.
I am not changing any rules at all.
For us, if we have a compliance issue, then you know who to call, because there's email and phone number on the front, but that's the owner. That might not be the person that's.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of them are management companies
right.
that do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yep, that's right.
So the other thing, so as far as like the apps or actual enforcement of this is there is a citation as well that could be processed as far as violating your land use permit conditions. That is part of it. I know if you're not renting, there's a 3-month waiting period, whereas someone that gets revoked for not following the conditions, there's really nothing in our ordinance that states a timeline. So I don't know if you guys want to ponder on that or not, but so right now it would be, as far as I can tell, if someone got it revoked, they'd come back, they could apply for a permit. They'd have to pay the new permit fee, which is $750 instead of the renewal fee, which is $300. But otherwise, that special wait period that's on the no permits isn't really on the permit itself.
We would be revoked for like a year or something.
We talked about that.
We have talked.
I remember talking about that because
And it
I
was a
thought it
1
was
year.
the length of a contract or something to put a little pain to it for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did have it at one time
We
because it
did.
was 3 months and then we changed it to
I thought it was 6.
6 or a year. Second time I thought was a
It's
year,
like
but
6.
first time, I'm not sure anymore.
So that's definitely in there for the no permitted people. They can't just come in and, oh, yeah, I got caught, now I'm gonna get my permit tomorrow. There's a 3-month wait period for that. But as far as what I can tell, there's nothing in there for people that had a permit. Oh, I broke my conditions, it's gone.
You know,
I'm gonna come back in tomorrow and get
That
a
would
new
require an additional rule.
start again, but.
Right, that would-
It should be at least the same as not having a permit.
yeah.
3 months.
Right, but I'm
Yeah.
saying that still would require that would require an update to our ordinance.
Correct.
So then we go into a different process. I'm just, right? Am I wrong?
Yep,
I just-
that would be the place to do it.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna try to handle this,
Yeah.
we are, and I'm not against updating the ordinance. I'm just, so far, we're talking about things that are actually already there. We're just making it clear for people to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only problem with doing this 3 months is if I broke my, if I'm renting now and I wasn't supposed to be renting, and April 1 was my start date, 3 months is nothing.
No.
That's where I think we got off the rails on it, because that's what we came, because if you're renting longer than you're supposed to, well, 3 months, yeah.
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 Yeah. It wasn't,
They still
it
got
didn't
9.
mean anything to us.
They would make more money by just keep going.
Right.
So that's where I thought we went to 1 year.
I don't remember.
I remember
The
talking
only
about
length of the term.
I remember.
Well, we talked about it, but I thought we
about
were,
But we did it, because it's not in the ordinance.
no,
right?
it's
Not
not,
that I've seen, no.
Not there.
no, it's not. We didn't do anything.
This is where also a software would help because from when a permit would be revoked to when they could reapply,
Yeah.
it would be right on there and
Right.
they could log back in and
Mhm.
reapply and pay right through that system as well. We need to figure something like that out.
I would
Good or
agree.
redline it or.
Just be.
So then the revoked would be the timeline then for that. Okay. Yeah, because 3 months wouldn't really hurt.
That would have to be in our, adding that ordinance. So we
Yeah.
could have that resolution brought forward, right? To add that? Is that how that works?
Well, 3 months is a pretty big deal because every one of them, my wife does this, looks them up. And they all have a chart and they have people every week is full.
Of course.
You have to contact everybody for 3 months and say, we're not open.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a big deal, but still think we need to go 6 months or a year here.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying.
Because if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It'll just keep going.
And that's where it can get, there's some people that have called and complained, or filed a complaint on some of these properties. They'll say, well, look, it's all blocked out. And if someone's gonna be at their cabin for 2 weeks, they block it out so no one can rent it. So that's where we can't still tell if it's renters or the owner, that's,
Yeah.
otherwise it'd be easy to go right on there like people and you can see it's blocked out. And most of the time it probably is rented, but I've had owners say, hey, no, that's just me. Like I have to block it out. Otherwise someone could rent it and I'm planning to be there for 2 weeks. So that just to get that out there that we can't really go off of that because of the 2 ways that can be blocked out. We
Yeah.
don't know if it's a renter or if it's the property owner, but
I understand what you're saying, but even if it's blocked out, you don't care if the homeowner is gonna be there or somebody else, you know, if they have to call all these people that are gonna be there.
Correct.
So,
Well, you break the rules, that's,
Yeah,
I mean, if it's a harsh enough penalty, they'll go by the conditions and,
that's right.
you know, that way too. I mean, we're gonna be looking at this next one too, break the rules. You get shut down. But this could be an update here for this one,
yeah.
if we get all this in there, yeah, and then to clear it up, yes.
I like those suggestions should be.
How does that help? How about Corporation Council? Does this help you to define some of these better that way for if there is something? You know, if there's a citation, the better we do it. Does it help you guys?
If it's in the permit,
Yeah, if the conditions are in there, if they're specified better, whatever that we're putting in there, does that help?
as opposed to just being in the ordinance itself.
Be kind of, well, you know, if we have a start date, then you could actually, a citation would stick. I mean,
Well,
for you to
makes-
prosecute.
If we have a specific date on an application, it makes it a lot easier to say, yeah, see, they operated outside.
Okay.
Then I only have to bring evidence of the day that they're operating
Right.
and the fact that it's outside of the day that the window is,
Okay,
as opposed to say, okay, well, now I have to bring in evidence of when did they start? Oh, well, did they have a person in there? I don't know. We didn't have anyone monitoring that.
So then the revoke
Theoretically,
times 2 would help to say, okay, then it's, Your Honor, boom, it's a 1-year revoke then. You can't
Right.
come back. So that does help some that way too,
it removes an amount of evidence that I have
to find or show, okay. So that'll help that way too. All right. Okay, are we good there then?
I think so.
All right, so we come up with some more.
yeah, that's all I had. So yeah, I guess it would just be a follow-up of if there's language you guys would like to see added into the shoreline while we have it open.
Yep. And then this, okay.
Because tourist rooming houses is in the shoreland.
Oh, yes.
Most of them, yeah.
But if we
not all.
take zoning, no, if we take types, zoning districts out of shoreland would turn, no, tourist rooming houses would still be in shoreland right now.
Yep.
That's not part of zoning district. Sorry, I just need
No, it's
to.
not a district.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to think about it, if it's gonna be removed because of the zoning district part, but it can.
But it wouldn't. It could still
You
be,
can have your own
it's still in the,
use. You're saying in all shorelands.
this is the tourist rooming
Meaning that
houses.
this is important to protect the,
Yep.
scenic beauty, the, everything of
Yeah.
shoreland intent of that.
But there are tourist rooming houses that aren't on lakes too.
Yeah,
Correct.
Right, but that's
Yeah.
right, but it wouldn't necessarily be an
No,
exclusive. Got it.
but that, yeah, okay.
Yeah, by putting it in the shoreland, it's not gonna change the general stuff for people that are.
This isn't in the actual, we're just updating, an application.
Right now. He's just
Yep.
saying if we
would
wanted
be
to change,
updating the
our-
application to.
we wanted to
cover ourselves.
update our shoreland since it's
So
in
we're
the
not
shoreland.
really changing an ordinance, we're changing an
application.
application.
The first two things, but the last part I'd say would have to be in an ordinance change, saying that it's revoked for a year. We can't
Okay.
put that on an
No.
application.
All right,
No.
okay, yep,
Be so much easier.
all right.
Yeah, just whatever.
It seemed easier then. All right.
Okay. We did that.
Well, Blue Rock discussion, we, because of the public comments and that, we got some other lines, I might have. Joe, we are actually the legislative body, so we're not the enforcement, even though we do hear the complaints and stuff.
correct. So I think the reason that this is on the agenda isn't for any specific action on the part of this committee. Rather, I think the reason it's on is to go over the conditions that this committee has assigned and make sure that staff's understanding of the committee's conditions are being implemented by staff the way the committee wants them to be implemented. So it's a way to verify that what the conditions are, as interpreted by staff, are in fact what the conditions are as they were supposed to be, as assigned by the committee. The committee can't change any of the things. You're not acting to change any of the conditions. You're simply providing direction to staff on what you meant when you created these conditions.
Got it.
Okay, so is there specific ones that
So.
we think we need to, let's go through and see,
Own document.
Yeah.
because otherwise we're gonna look it up too, you know, because of the public hearing and see if that was answered then or not, or.
So we want to look at this list?
No,
I think we should look at our own document.
this is what they're saying for their interpretation of the conditions to us.
Show Joe what you got.
It's the one from Force.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I think the staff themselves have questions that they would like to address to the committee.
Okay, yeah. That, of the conditions,
I
yeah.
don't have a list of the conditions other than this was sent today.
So do we,
Didn't bring it.
maybe we can't, maybe we need to take a recess to find it, but we should have a list of conditions
Not just this
from
list.
when we acted.
Yeah.
And the public comments, one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now,
This is the public
Yes.
comment one.
well, we should have a list, as Logan said, of what they were that day that we,
Yeah,
Yeah, so I have a copy, I could print a bunch of copies of what the actual
Excellent.
findings and the conditional uses are. Is that what you're?
yeah,
That's what we're
yeah,
looking
that's
at.
what we're looking for.
We need to take like 10 minutes.
Let's take like a 10-minute break.
yeah, it would take a 10 minute. My question would be, as we go back through them, can we question whether they have done them at this time or not?
That's not, no,
No, we can.
it's not relevant to what I think the intent of.
That's
Sorry, try that. You could try it and you say, I got the same
Make
answer.
sure we're in our box.
We got the same answer.
Joe, are you printing then?
Yeah.
They're on recess? Okay, thanks.
We're on recess.
Is it even ski resort too?
Huh?
Yes.
And
Ski resort.
Oh, and,
I don't have an issue with him.
and I golfed there for years on the league, so I know it.
Everything.
And then
It's like, how much?
that's Cindy Copeland, who's on the museum board. Representing. the
All right, there we go. Everybody back. I suppose, did they scan for Claire to put it up?
We'll have hard copy, right?
Did the scan to put it up.
I waited right to the end to do it too.
You just wanted another recess.
No, I don't know. It's hard on everybody though, see, because I don't smoke. It's every 20 minutes otherwise.
Wow, right.
You used to spend a lot of time on recess, Kim.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
Between him and Edgel.
yeah, the two of them.
All right,
That
so
was
let's take, we all got exhibit B.
Yep.
Yup.
Which ones are you? One, all, few?
Yeah, so I mean, what we did as staff was went through, I mean, I think one of the questions that has came up is what's pre-permit issuance, like before we can issue them a permit, and what's after it's been issued and they have to follow it, you know, from the issuance of that permit. Because right now we have no permit that we've issued. We haven't received anything on it. The conditional use hearing, everything was approved, but as right in the conditional use permit application states, you have to come and get your land use permit, which is when we then review all of this stuff. I think some of the main questions are at the third-party studies, if it's the county that chooses those, or if that's the applicant that brings the study to us, and then at that point, we deem if the study's what's the word I'm looking for?
What
Sufficient.
number is that?
Yeah, what number are you talking about, Logan?
Like
Let's make
the
sure.
document got all scrambled compared to,
Like what's before or after it?
well,
So it's on
We-
H, 15H.
click here.
H has a third
There's
part.
the traffic study states it, which is on O.
H.
Each is for, yeah, the noise limitation.
The traffic study on L. It doesn't say. That's if it's deemed necessary, the highway commissioner, but. So L would almost fall into that too, would it?
That's a permit, so they'd have to have that permit.
Right.
With the traffic study, so I mean.
That's only if it's, I would think that would be the county highway commissioner that would deem if a study is conducted,
Yeah.
is needed, wouldn't it be? So that wouldn't fall on these guys. Or would
Well,
it?
yeah, it would. Or county highway department after additional traffic study is conducted, if such study is deemed necessary. The highway commissioner.
If it's deemed necessary, it would probably be a third party, wouldn't it? Is that right, Mo? Who does the traffic study
That would,
for the county?
For the county would not do that.
No, so that would be a
The
third
applicant
party.
would have to pick an engineering firm to do a traffic study.
So that would be a third party.
Because that one in 2010 is not valid anymore.
Yeah.
there was some discussion on if the county can select the firm or if the applicant can select the firm. Does the committee, when they set the conditions, did they have any thought on that? Or did they think that the county was going to be selecting the firms to comply with these conditions?
I thought that we were thinking that the county to pick a neutral one.
Okay,
Because I think the county would be more neutral picking one than them picking a third. Because they had specialists come that they picked. If you
Right.
remember the guy from Switzerland and all over, these guys that could hardly speak English were there.
Oh, I forgot.
So that, remember? So I think at the committee level, I think we were thinking that the county would pick a third party.
maybe by virtue of. Okay.
Would you think that it would have to be both? Could both do it? and discuss, I mean,
Well, that would be kind of a conflict if you do both.
well, I mean, if they get together to pick a third party, it's,
Who's they? The county and the
no, it's Blue
applicant?
Rock, yeah, the applicant and the county, could they get together and do it that
Agree
way or
on?
not? Or just have the county pick one and do it?
Well, I'm not sure, Joe, on liability on the county picking a vendor to, or solicit vendors to do a study for someone else and pay for it. If we
Right.
become risk of liability, depending on how that study comes out versus the applicant picks their vendor or does their study and comes back with the what's required and say, does this meet the requirement of the permit?
So the other thing is if the applicant picks the vendor and pays for it, we have to find out if they're non-biased.
The applicant pays for the vendor regardless,
Yes,
because it is their application. It will be the cost associated with
the
the.
cost associated with any of the studies. Yeah.
My question is simply, do we find this vendor? Or does Mr.
Blue Rock would find the vendor, but
Yeah.
should we have that we verify that they're not biased or how?
So
do we do it?
is there a mining association that has vendors that they recommend in general? You know what I mean? So then the county could say, hey, here are vendor A, B, and C recommended by the mining association. I mean, because part of some of the stuff is specialized. So I would think the idea of researching to find a vendor on the county is, to me, that's a little bit on the insane side of things. That if there's an I'm guessing there's a mining organization or whatever,
I'm sure.
MDOT should have that.
that they would have a list of
Credible.
thank you for the word, yes, credible vendors that do these types of things, that then the county could hey, here's the list of vendors. Maybe you do a little research on them. I don't know, but then at least these are the vendors used in mining in this region.
Yeah, and that was one of my biggest questions is, so if they pick a vendor, they come to us and we go, no. It's like they just did a whole study for
Right.
me to say, no, it's like, I don't really want that to happen.
Right.
Whereas if you say, this is what we have for credible, testers, here you go.
Yeah.
Whatever comes back from these, we're gonna.
Or they should find the list.
My recommendation would be that they present a vendor that they anticipate using.
Yeah,
The county would say yay or nay.
Yeah.
yeah,
That
I
makes
think
sense.
that would.
We could vet that through MSHA, of the Duluth office.
Yeah,
Because even with seismic requirements for blasting and stuff, I mean,
That's all.
Lime Corps, they still call me when they blast.
Yep.
And set it off and they set up their instruments at several different locations to make sure they're under the thresholds.
We're gonna follow Joe's recommendation.
Yeah.
Yes, for any third party things go that way.
Joe.
I think, because that was a big thing about cost and stuff to the taxpayers. So I mean, that was a big thing that they said they would do.
Okay.
No. Some of these that are specifically, those ones kind of specifically state a third party, they don't state
Sure.
party right in it, but some of these other ones, some of the questions we have is was brought up during the public comment today, like the haul routes, 100 per day. Zoning's not gonna sit out there and so where do we get that information if that's exceeded?
They
That's
would
my
have
biggest
to-
question.
That's something they would have to monitor themselves. How many trucks come in a day and go out? I mean, it goes through a scale, so they know if there's 10 trucks weighed in or 10 didn't.
Well, their scale records, that's.
So I mean, they would have to keep that record themselves.
The expectation would be to pull the scale records.
Yeah.
And
So then if a neighbor says, okay, I sat and counted 102, well, if 102 trucks went out and weighed, it was 102.
Right, because there is other pits in the area.
Yeah,
Yeah, so how do you?
that's why you'd use,
Have to drive.
That's why you'd have to do the.
that's, you have to do their scale ticket.
With the sold.
Because otherwise you could be coming out on that for a lot of trucks too. And then you got right way right there too. So I mean, you got a lot of trucks that go to both.
County Road F isn't gonna be the only way in and out, correct? Because that was only one way.
Yeah.
If you're going the other way.
They could go to the county pit and be coming by. You come back that way. If you
No, but I thought there was more than one route to get out of that pit.
they haven't got, they have to get across the railroad, so that's something they have
But
to.
I thought that's where they were gonna try and process was across the railroad, and I thought that was part
They were gonna
of,
come out on F then, and not double M.
I thought you could come on double M or F.
No, double M, they couldn't come out yet till they can cross the railroad.
Got the
They have to have-
road in another property, they'd have to get an easement across.
So it is County Road F for access. That's what we understand.
So that's where they wanted to find out if they need a turning lane and all that.
Yeah,
That's why they
yeah.
needed the study. So that was that
On
part.
the very first one, A, all those parcel numbers that are listed, does that total up to 10 acres then? Is that the original 10 acres? That for the quarry itself?
A lot more than the 10 acres.
It's a lot more.
Yeah.
I think that's all the parcels
For the
related to.
whole thing?
Yeah, the active quarry boundaries lie within those
Within the,
within those parcels.
okay.
Those parcels equal together
These are.
a lot more acres.
Yeah, so on the plan they provided, those 4 parcels were, there was some part of that 10-acre proposal in those
In those,
4. And then the
okay.
next one states those other 3 were completely outside of what was proposed.
And they have to have an additional permit, conditional use permit for those to use anything for that.
Yeah, so if they say, oh, we're still gonna do our 10 acres, but we want to do it on one of these now, they can't just transfer it over to another parcel. It has to go.
Yes, it's start-
Right now, it has to go on one of these 4. If they want to move it to one of those 3, it needs a whole.
A whole new permit. What about C? Who's gonna determine that they need to have berms or not?
Yeah, can I suggest we just go down each
Yep.
one? So now we're on C.
Yeah, we're on
Okay.
C. Let's keep going.
Install berms as necessary for noise mitigation.
Yep,
It's a little ambiguous.
yeah, it is.
Well, they're required to remain below 55 decibels, so the berms would need to be sufficient to keep them below 55 decibels. I mean, that's
But
the,
who's gonna determine if?
well, they're required later on.
The test.
You gotta keep going.
Okay,
So on H,
Berms on the site will be required by MSHA anyways, to be at least.
Minimum.
okay.
All our
Oh,
mines have that.
We always,
Okay.
that's on the property.
Yeah. And that would be in all of ours. We have berms.
so to answer Sarah's question, in essence, it's gonna be regulated by the sound and by MSHA. in
Yeah.
essence.
Yes, it'll be
Yeah.
regulated by MSHA.
Then E would be the other one.
Let's go to D. Water settling basins will be constructed for runoff and processing water.
Is that the DNR thing?
Is that within the 10 acres?
That's all they can use is 10 acres, so it has to be.
10 acres. Asking for verification.
Does that, we gotta keep going, but I think we need to revisit that when we're done going through these.
You mean revisit whether or not that gets clarified with another
Yes.
addition?
Okay, so for right now, we're saying that's within the 10 acres of
The quarry.
when I look at K, no greater than 10 acres in aggregate for total mining footprint, regardless of reclamation.
Yep.
So when you say water settling basins will be constructed for runoff and processing water, is that within the 10 acres in aggregate for total mining footprint?
Cause the problem is if you have mining and storage and all of that in 10 acres, you start putting this water, cause how big is
But it lists processing, so if you put a wash plant in there, it has to be within the mining footprint.
So
I know, I'm
are we getting
nervous
too
too.
far in the weeds?
I'm nervous too.
I'm concerned about the fact that we're diving into very specific things that ultimately can be brought up in litigation later. And so
Yeah.
what
I get.
I had expected the conversation and hoped the conversation would be some very specific, concrete questions coming from staff about how do you want us to verify these things? I don't want to get into changing what was presented at the actual hearings when the decisions were made. And so
like D would be, yes, it's in the 10 acres. Oh, go.
Yeah, that's the question within 10
And
acres.
no more explanation. Is that how we want it?
Mhm,
Less explanation?
mhm.
Okay. It's E.
All other permits must be obtained and complied with for any and all applicable regulatory agencies. That was pretty clear cut.
And that had a list, I think. Did we have that list at one time? You don't have, oh, I might have that list.
Not on this list, so we're not worried about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
So a
today.
1,300-foot setback, F is 1,300-foot setback as the bird flies from the edge of the 10-acre footprint to any residence that is existed as of the date of granting of this permit.
So that'd be us then likely confirming that with our mapping, I would assume.
With GIS, I
Yeah.
would think, yes.
And B, limiting operations to March 15th through November 15th annually. That's pretty cut and dry.
Next is the test, which is a third party.
H is third party. And according to Joe, we will get a list. They will present the list of the vendors and we will approve as far as that goes. Zoning
Any third
administrator,
party vendor, yes.
the third party vendor.
Yep.
I is no weekend or night operations, operation hours between 7 AM and 6 PM with the exception of rail car loading. We cut and dry.
Can I go back to H for a second?
Sure.
Just the way it's worded, the applicant shall have the test done twice annually during crushing and blasting to prove that the noise limitation is in compliance. So I guess from a staff's perspective, if those tests come back, yep, they're less than 55, but then they crush a different time and it's over. How's that language? Because it seems like it, I don't know, does it have to be at all times? Or if these two tests come back stating that during those two events, they were below it, how does that work? If it's not being tested and they're over, who comes up with that information?
Oh, I
Because
see.
we won't be out there, I don't think, doing the decibel reading, which I feel like it could be a
That would be.
difficult thing to do, but the way it's worded, but
Well, that's the third party.
Make you think.
So it's twice annually during blasting and crushing. I don't know how many, did we have a limit on blasting and crushing?
Wasn't there something somewhere else that said something about that?
That they determine.
yeah, now that we've started this, I regret this.
Me too.
I think we should say that we're shutting it down.
So at this point, the conditions are set.
Yep.
We will work with Joe to make sure Logan has any clarity that he needs as you guys, as the committee set this is the legislation piece.
Yep.
You are the legislators, you've legislated.
And Jay, for the one question, we had a question about depth. There is a number, 958. So I mean, that number is in here. To answer, some of these.
Sure. So at this point, I think we'll go back and what information we have now and we'll move forward. With clarification, if we have more, we'll come back to the committee.
So now, okay, the permit shall run from 10 years to date the application meets all the conditions. Okay. Like you said, then when does he he has to meet these to get the permit. So they have quite a bit of information to bring in before they get a permit.
Right, they have to go through all these things, present them, say, hey, we think we've complied with everything that we need to comply with. And then from that date, if we say, yeah, you've complied with everything, then that's when their 10 years starts.
That's when it starts. Okay, so we know that. All right. I think that answered some of their questions.
I think that's where most of the questions today were coming from, is to make sure the pre and post were on the same page, but
Yeah.
that's Some of them are
Yeah,
iffy,
to
like,
get there.
do they need to do this before or after? Because some of it's during operation, some of it's
Yeah,
states right in there, you have to do it before.
before.
So that was just I think there was questions from the public and then as
Yep.
far as when we look at it, like, yeah, some of this, is it pre or post permit? I don't. Regardless, it has to be followed, but do they still get the permit if they show it or, and then follow it after? But
Yeah, because they can't, until they blast or do the crushing, you don't know what the sound will be, so you can't. Yeah. So, all right.
So those conditions in that particular discussion won't be on the agenda again unless Corporation Council.
They find something that possible.
That we need to rec-
You want my box of notes on it, so you can look up stuff.
Box. Dating back to Kramer.
Oh, the Kramer one, that's way back. Oh, man.
Well, I'm old.
I might have that one too.
There's no, you do?
I did, I have the Kramer, I think I brought the Kramer.
Get the right briefcase, Kim.
That's it. Okay. So are we good on 12 then? Did that help? Lou?
Yes.
Okay, so we're good. It got the bigger ones answered. Get started on it. Okay. All right, update from our administrator. Is there an update?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a short 40-minute presentation on year-end highlights.
Hold on.
Just kidding.
Bring on lunch.
He's got 6 minutes or he's buying dinner.
Just a couple things. Sales tax for November was down 39% from last year.
Ooh,
So that was a big hit for us. So please shop local and buy a lot of Christmas gifts. In December, December 1st was declared, Snowplow Appreciation Day by Governor Evers. That's something he does every year. The governor does. Coming in 2026, the WCA and legislators will be looking at funding transportation. There's a shortfall in transportation naturally of almost $1 billion. So when they went away from gas indexing, those funds really dried up. And currently what they're doing is the fund transportation, they're taking money from the general fund or other pots and putting it in there. So they're trying to find a way to have a little more sustainability in the transportation fund. The Atlas work on the wing walls down there has been shifted to spring. And that's within the contractor's contract. Grandstand work, currently the metal work is up. The rest of it will resume in March of 2026. And the D.D. Kennedy Walking Bridge Replacement Project is just waiting for frozen ground here, so they don't tear up our park. So that'll be commencing here shortly with this week's cold weather. That's all I have.
You made it.
Now it's my turn to have.
It's your
a minute discussion.
Now it's Sarah.
We appreciate the opportunity to give those stewardship awards every year. And I think it's really advantageous to highlight and to point out those folks that do the good work in the county. So thank you to the committee for allowing us to always do that. Next Tuesday, we have a land council meeting with several of the key players that help to guide the monies that come in from our recorded documents for land records modernization, which includes our GIS that you guys all see and being able to have that data readily available in dispatch and all sorts of things. So also includes projects from the Register of Deeds also to index and scan and do back projects like that. So that's next Tuesday to offer some guidance. Kim, I just wanted to make sure that you did get the invitation for that.
I did not.
That might be an emailing issue.
That might be an email issue.
So it's at 9 o'clock on next Tuesday, Kim.
9 o'clock next, it's right here.
It is, yes. Also, we have, no, not in this room.
Well, it could be because we're meeting at GAM.
Well, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
HHS is in GAM.
Yeah. Also, several of us are attending the AI training in Wausau on Monday, the 15th. And I'm willing to learn and be interested in all of the things at that particular seminar. Eric attended a a training on, the boats, the deep water, oh my gosh.
Wake boats.
The wake boats. And I'm gonna be asking the town association if they want the presenter to come in and also meet with them about some of the things that were going on up north, I think Ashland, Bayfield area, and to come down and share that same information with the towns. I know Duke Tucker at the last town association meeting mentioned wake boats and some legislation around them. So we'll be at that town association meeting. I think it's the third week in January 22nd. Other than that, it's just year end. It's we're thankful that the budget season is over, just in time to probably gear up for the next one. And yeah, just wishing everybody a happy holidays as we move into this season.
Yay, the AI, I see the AI is, they're using it to answer the 911 calls and stuff in that new counties magazine.
Oh, yeah, I
This thing-
saw that.
That was
Yeah, I did
interesting.
read that article.
So it might work for tourist rooming houses.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Once a nightmare.
I'm more interested in the data centers and some of the things that are happening across the state as well.
Exactly.
But I mean, the uses of AI, I'm sure we will hear plenty about that Monday as well, but there's a lot of other things regarding land use too.
Oh, sure.
That's all I had.
Okay. Subject matters. For the 7th.
We have, you asked for, the shoreline ordinance to be on the January 7th meeting. Will we be discussing it on the 7th or?
Did you want a separate meeting?
I think we'll do a separate meeting on, it depends on how much is on it right now.
At this point,
No
we don't
public
have any public hearings and, it's on January 7th. I don't have any other major items, listed.
Well, then maybe we could do it at a regular meeting then and go through it line for line, kind of.
Yeah, Katie,
Page to
do you
page
have-
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Katie,
Do this without
do you have anything else listed on?
You're not gonna be here?
Just it's on the work plan, that forest distribution.
Oh, pretty minor. Just a report.
Okay.
Wildlife.
The
we were moving
wildlife
to
was February.
February.
Yeah.
Is it moving to
Yeah.
February?
They're moving that to February.
The wildlife damage stuff.
So it'd be forest distribution, that's pretty.
So if
minor.
there's not that much, we should just do it on a regular meeting, so we wouldn't have to have a second one.
Right, and obviously that will still just be a discussion with the committee at that time, and then we can, either, there's a couple different options, I guess, at that point, send it off to the DNR or hold the public hearing, whatever you decide as a committee. So we'll kind of tentatively,
Put the tourist rooming update on there too.
Yes.
So we don't forget it.
okay.
And that on the applications. I mean, that, then we can keep
Application
that
update.
moving.
Sure. I mean, we can share it with you and just give you the update. I can do that either as an agenda item or in my division director's report as well. Boy, I would love to look at the software, but
We get some, maybe we can get some information on the software.
Yeah, I would like to
But
do that.
we can still upgrade the application, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, but I would also like it as an agenda item, so
I
if we
would
want to
too, so
discuss it, we can discuss it. Because if it's
Yeah.
just on your report, it's a little harder to.
Discuss it, yeah.
Some we need to budget for 2027 on adding new software and what that cost is. We can.
But I mean,
Yeah.
just to update the
Yep, start looking at it.
the
absolutely.
application, that would be something we could do right away, I think.
Maybe it's an emergency item,
Could
an
be.
emergency purchase.
I was wondering the same thing.
Don't we have like, I don't know, $4 million in the fund balance there, Ken?
And then get one where the application is right online too, so people can do it right online, and it feeds right into that software.
Just a reminder, sales tax is down 39%.
La, 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 la.
And we're at 87%, 5 million, we're down
No, we're down
50,000,
now,
so,
yeah.
but, okay.
We're not at
We're still up
87 anymore.
4.2.
So yeah, and then we can take a look at the work plan as we roll into 2026.
Okay. All right. Give it that
We have litigation update? Or
I
yeah,
don't
you're not
believe
gonna-
so. I don't think anything's happened. Not like 2 weeks ago when we had 4 cases get updated. No.
We're good.
Think we're good. Nothing that I
Force is gonna bring something back to us.
aware of.
Not that you're aware of.
Yeah. Any new updates?
Okay.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Ah.
We are adjourned right at.
All those again.